months ago. And because he did that, because I was having a hard time, did I want to pay $372 plus sales tax on this?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't feel like it's a $372 case, but I really wanted content that was different from everybody else. And, you know, why do something somebody else has done unless I can do it differently? So this is something completely unique. It has no owner. We're just building this for the channel. It'll go into my big pile of stuff for the channel of unique and weird computer builds like the Tube, the Spaceship, the Xenos, that long flat HTPC. We've never finished it, still sitting back there. And this will go into that stack as a very unique computer. And Mortot had contributed, you know, very generously, and I thought, okay, he's mostly paid for this. I'll pay up the difference. So if you see Mortot in the chat room, guys, you know, because of him, this video is happening. Just so you know, these videos, I try to make them as much as possible sponsor free. And when I do take on sponsors, they're only for products and services that I really use in real life for my real life business. And it has to be at a discount. I'm not offering you to just, you know, go and pay what everybody else pays. So a lot of companies that I reach out to that I like and use in my business, well, they don't get back to me. I'm not big enough for them, or they don't like my style. They don't get it. And that's okay. When it proves itself in time, instead of me going to them, they're going to be coming to me. Only I'm going to be more expensive. They wait that long. But in the meantime, we have a handful of sponsors like the Windows and Office keys from VIP CDK Deals. Use the coupon code CARRY. These are real, legitimate, legal, and guaranteed product codes. RoboForm, you get a 30% discount if you're a new customer, 30% off. Use my link. No coupon code is necessary. That's in the video description below the video. Instant House Call, you get a 15-day free trial. There's no special going on right now, but because Instant House Call is such a small company, if that 15-day free trial just isn't giving you enough time to evaluate whether or not you want to pay for it, reach out to Corey personally and ask him to extend your trial. That's all you have to do. It's very easy to work with. And I feel like I'm forgetting a sponsor here. But the bottom line is they're not sponsors in the traditional way that I'm here as their corporate spokesperson saying what they want me to say. What I'm telling you is unscripted and unrehearsed, and it's how I feel. And that's why I'm so proud to align myself with these sponsors. But it does make it very limiting to the kind of content I can make financially. And with your contributions, whether it's membership, super chat, Amazon gift cards, that money goes into buying equipment such as the case, the motherboard, the CPU, the storage, the RAM, the power supply, everything we need to build the computer so that we have this unique content that you cannot find anywhere else. And so for that, I thank all of you for making it possible. Peter Laycock, our friend Buster out there in Scotland, contributed yesterday during the show, and I sent it via PayPal, so I didn't see it. So thank you, Peter, for yesterday's contribution. And then today, before the show, he contributed in his an Amazon gift card, and I just used that to buy 2 Gen 4, those Fangjing 2 terabyte NVMe drives. And I'm going to put them in that GTR 7 and put them in a RAID 0. And basically, since the GTR 7 review went so sideways yesterday, I thought, when I come back and do this again, I've got to go over the top and once again do something I've never seen any other YouTube content creator do. And while they might do it after me, I want to be the first. And now I just saw somebody posted the GTR 7 review today. So mine was the first one.
Okay.
But they didn't do things with it that I did with it. So they didn't experience the problem I had. So, but they did a great job with it. And you can search on YouTube for that if you're interested in watching it. And I'm sure there'll be more in the coming next couple of weeks as more and more content creators showcase that GTR 7, which is really a very impressive machine. We just got a little hiccup there, which not a big deal, but it's enough that it prevents me from doing the review properly. So we'll redo the review once I get over that issue. And that video is still up. I didn't take it down or anything. You can watch that at any time if you didn't watch yesterday's video. And let me just jump into the chat here and say hello to everybody. And Blue, our friend Oystein, watching us all the way from Norway, and Ron Barnish and Lawn Dog. There's Buster in the chat room, and Captain Blinsky. Richard Cullen joins us, as well as Mark Gaines. And Mark contributes 20, my mouse is going crazy, 20 pounds. Mark Gaines says, good evening, Carrie, Marlena, and Mitch.
Hey, Mark.
Mark is in Northern Ireland.
Ah.
Welcome in, welcome in. Thank you for supporting the channel, Mark.
Got to get over there. It's on my bucket list. So.
Paul O'Brien contributes €2. He says, have a Gatorade on me. Marlena. Thomas Backenstow says, hello, Marlena and Carrie. But Thomas is not saying hello to you, Mitch. Are you and Thomas fighting?
Didn't he had Little Red that we built. I still thought that was a great machine.
He's got 2 machines.
Yeah, a great machine.
How's that machine running there?
I was really jealous.
Here's some more time. Chat. With his contribution has helped make today's video possible. Peter Laycock, our friend Buster, contributes 10 pounds. He says, good evening, Carrie and Marlena and Mitch and everyone in the chat. All the best from Bonnie, Scotland. The temperature in Edinburgh is 56 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 13 degrees Celsius, for about 2 weeks now. Cool. Temperature's been in the mid-50s over there. A little chilly, and sometimes raining, which would really make it cold.
Yeah.
But still, I'd rather have that than, what do we have today? What's our temps?
I'm guessing 92 is what I'm thinking.
You think it's 92 and it's still warming up? Yeah. My phone says it's checking 90.
It's off by 2.
You're off by 2 degrees.
Missed it by that much.
And I think I got everyone. Did I get everyone? Everybody who contributed. I just want to make sure that I take a moment to shout them out and give them the credit they so very much deserve. Thomas says, I did say hi to Mitch. Okay, that's just teasing. It wasn't it, you must have said hi to Mitch separately is all I'm saying. Thomas MacT says, hello, Carrie. Mitch, Carrie, and Marlena. I need to read it in the right order. It's always Carrie first. Colin Hunt with 10 pounds contributed in Super Chat, says, good evening, everybody.
Hey, Colin.
Evening over there. I think it's 8 hours ahead over there. 1 o'clock p.m.
It's still Friday.
But it is still Friday.
Yeah.
Frankie B says hello. Always good to see our friend Frankie B. Our friend Mats Olav Rickardsson joining us from Sweden. I was just watching the Spotify documentary from Netflix Sweden. And in Sweden, they have a small impact on the world and pop culture. So we're, ABBA. I think, what was the name of that group? I said ABBA. The other one, Love Fool. I think they're Swedish. Anyway, they also are famous for the Pirate Bay. And they're famous for Spotify. And The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, Stig Larsson wrote that. And so a long time ago, I watched basically a TV miniseries. I think they called it Millennium in Sweden for Swedish television. I watched it with subtitles. It's really good. Better than the major motion picture with Daniel Craig. No, this was really well done. And that was, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago, whatever it was. So all the tech was, high tech at the time, seems pretty basic today. But this Spotify documentary is fascinating and just interesting how it's there in Sweden that it got originated from, and I didn't know anything about it. What's funny, though, is at the time, because this takes place it starts in the late 90s when the creator has this idea for a different product, and he's listening to music through Pirate Bay, and he's playing it with Winamp. Did you ever use Winamp?
Oh, yeah. That ages me, yeah.
So Winamp was made by a company called Nullsoft. And do you know where they were based out of?
Sweden.
Sedona.
Arizona?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, Nullsoft was in Sedona, Arizona. So, that's not anymore. I think AOL bought them.
And I think, Chad, a favorite band of mine, when I've been on with Uncle Kerry, I've worn this shirt once or twice. There's a rock band by the name of Work of Art. And it's a trio, or 4 guys, but now it's a trio, but they sound a lot like Journey and Toto, and I really like the band a lot, Work of Art. So I think they're from Sweden, yeah.
What about Mr. sounds a lot like Toto, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
They're from Phoenix, Arizona. Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah. You didn't know that?
Yeah.
Yeah. From Phoenix.
And
yeah.
then there's another one I was just thinking of the other day that I thought would be up your alley. What was the band you just mentioned?
Mr. Work of Art.
Oh, Work of Art?
Yeah.
What's the other band I was just thinking of? I'm sure it'll come to me, but it seems like it's in that same genre.
Sure.
Thomas Backenstoke contributes $10 in Super Chat. He says, here's a shout out to Carrie, Marlena, and Mitch. Right on. Thank you, Thomas.
Andy Kane said, is this the shirt 55? I think, Andy, you're dead correct. Somebody stop me. All right.
Davis Parsons with $10 in Super Chat said, Mitch, we need extra dad jokes today.
Okay.
Oh, I hope you came prepared. Hey, Cordius Technology with a $5 contribution said, I'm watching and working, pricing out 3 builds for business, remotely working with a Mac client, and purchasing office keys using your code. Hey, I love it. Getting work done, making some money, helping some people out. Everybody's happy.
Nice. Mm-hmm.
Peter Laycock says, the time in Scotland right now. Just scrolled off my screen as I was reading it. 21:11 in the UK. So they are 10 hours ahead of us. Isn't that right? I thought they were only 9. Oh, they're 9 hours ahead. Yeah. We're 9 hours behind, depending on how you want to look at it. David Ice says hello to everybody in chat and to Mitch. Oh, and to me too. Welcome in, everybody. I don't know. You want to get started?
Indubitably. All right.
Oh, level 42. I think.
Yeah.
Level 42 and Mr. in total, kind of all kind of,
yeah, level 42, that's right.
Yeah, there's sort of a rock ballad? No, what would you call?
Soft rock.
Is it soft rock?
I wouldn't classic, although they've been around. All of them have been around a lot. So to me, any band that's been together over 20 years, falls under the classic rock. So.
I was listening to the radio station yesterday, and they were playing some song from the 80s. And I was enjoying it because, I was a teenager in the 80s. That's my era. And then they said, you're listening to all oldies. And I went, wait, what? This isn't Elvis and the Beatles? This isn't even the Eagles, which, okay, maybe I would say Eagles are.
Because Level 42's big hit was Something About You.
That was their biggest.
Their biggest, yeah.
Yeah, but they had other hits.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And I don't know what they are because I don't listen to it. I only like Something About You. It's a great song. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to prep our motherboard first, which means we're going to put our CPU in. This is the Core i5-13500K. We've got the SK Hynix Gen 4 2 terabyte NVMe drive, 2 sticks, 16 gigs each of DDR4. This is a DDR4 motherboard. When you're making a choice for a motherboard on a 12th or 13th gen Intel chip, you get boards that are either, not both, either DDR4 or DDR5. DDR5 is more money. It does run faster. Whether or not that's important to you, for the amount of money you're spending in addition for what you're getting back in return, is something only you can decide. I cannot tell you if you should do that or that you shouldn't do that. You have to decide that. Will it make a big difference? I don't know. It depends on what you think a big difference is and how you use your computer. You have to make that determination. Chris Garrett said they call the 80s oldies now, and 50s and 60s are now golden oldies.
Ah.
Well, they need to separate that. I thought about that in the 80s. My dad was listening to oldies. He's listening to Elvis, Bobby Darin, and all that. And I'm like, prior to my dad's generation, you just sort of had
big band.
Well, yeah, you had Glenn Miller and stuff like that. But after that, you had the Roaring 20s and the 30s and the 40s, where you had I forget what that style of music is called right now.
A lot of crooners.
And you had ragtime music. And I thought, I wonder how oldies stations, because everything continues to climb on, are they going to split oldies to say this, give it 2 different names? Or is the library of oldies just going to keep doubling in size every 10 years, right? Or every 20 years? So hopefully radio stations will separate out gold and oldies from oldies, because I don't want to listen She blinded me with science.
Thomas Dolby.
Yeah. And I'm like, it's a great song. It still sounds modern today. Ask any kid that listens to it. And yet, you're listening to the oldies, best of the oldies. And I don't want to hear Blinded by Science followed by Love Potion number 9 or something from the Animals or
The Archies, Sugar Sugar? No?
Yeah, exactly. The Mamas and the
Papas, yeah.
Yeah. They just need to be separated out.
Yeah.
Please. All right, so I'm going to go over some of the parts here. I've got the links in the video description below the video if you want more details about any of these parts. Matt Zoloff said, my year is the 70s. Oh, that 70s music was so depressing. Stuff like Jim Croce and Gilbert O'Sullivan and Terry
Song,
what was the guy's name? Terry.
But, you know, America, the Beach Boys.
But, so America's a great band, but again, it's just depressing.
You know, Three Dog Night, Joy to the World, you know.
Yeah, a little religious-y for me, you know, like...
Don't tell me you don't like the Carpenters, please. Don't tell me. Her voice could melt butter.
So first of all, Carpenters are brother and sister.
Yeah.
Why do birds fall out of the sky every time that you walk by?
Yeah.
Just like me, they must be...
That's deep.
I know that I'm comfortable with a brother singing to his sister a love song. It's just a little creepy. That's all. Carpenters kind of creep me out. It's very incestual music. At least the subject matter that they're singing. Maybe I just choose to look at it that way. I'm looking at something to not like. But she does have a great voice.
Oh.
But, you know, Donnie and Marie Osmond is kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
These brother and sister groups. But when they're singing, I'm a little bit country, I'm a little bit rock and roll. It's not, I'm in love with you, and this is a massively, you know, emotional love song from one sibling singing it to the other sibling just creeps me out. But then again, if you listen to my dad's music, 16 candles, you know, she's sexy and 17. There's just a whole lot of rapey music.
Well, in chat, everyone knows Uncle Kerry and Uncle Mitch are from Detroit. Grew up in Detroit, so we got, you know, Bob Seger's from Detroit, Alice Cooper's from Detroit, Ted Nugent, you know, so... Madonna is...
Kid Rock.
Yeah, grew up in my hometown, so a lot of, you know, obviously, and that I would say that's 70s, but let's not forget Motown with everyone, the Supremes, the Four Tops, the Temptations.
That was a very big influence in my life.
Big influence.
Because there's a lot of Detroit pride out of that music.
Out of that music.
Stations
and just, it still holds up that music even today, so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right,
okay.
So I want to go over the parts. So we're going to look at each Amazon page here separately, and why is this page up? I don't understand. Here. And I'll go back over to my window capture, and here we go. All right, so once again, this is our case, and I will bring that out when we're ready.
It's all glass. For the
Well, I hope
part.
none of the glass is broken. I haven't
Okay.
really dug into the box that much. It took 3 or 4 weeks to arrive from China, so if anything's broken,
Shaken, not stirred. Okay.
here's our processor, the Core i5-13500. This is not a K version, therefore we get a cooler included for free. It already has thermal compound applied. This is a bargain. This is a bargain. We've got 14 cores, which is 6 performance cores, 8 efficiency cores, or what they used to call the Atom. Remember the Intel Atom?
Yep.
And then it also has hyper-threading, so you're going to get a total of 20 threads, is it? And 24 megs of cache, and it cranks up to 4.8 gigahertz. So to go to a 13600, basically all of this information is the same, except it'll crank up to 5.1. And, you know, on the 13600K, you got to provide your own heatsink, and I would use a Mugen 5, and that's going to be $60, $65. So you got to pay additional just for that 300 megahertz, plus you got to buy the cooler. That's going to be over $100 price difference. So I think for the price, this is the processor to beat right now for just about any application, whether you're a media creator or a gamer, or just somebody who just wants a good, decent
bargain.
Yeah, good performance.
Yep.
It's not going to go obsolete anytime soon. It's great for the next 8-year build. I think this is the chip to buy. It was on sale for $209.
Oh, jeez.
So I bought 3 of them. I was trying to buy 5, but they said you could only have 3. So I have 3. And this is the third of 3. We used the first 2 in the black and white
builds.
ASRock Live Mixer build, right? That was 1 and 2. And this one is number 3. I did buy a 4th one. I had to have Camera Girl buy it on my behalf to get the deal. And that's the one we tested the Gen 5 SSD in. And that machine, I will bring that machine back and show you what it looks like complete. And I might throw the RAID card in there, and I need to go back and revisit, follow up on that video as well. Moving on, we have the motherboard. I need a Micro-ATX board to fit in this case. So the Live Mixer build or the other ASRock board I used for the 13500, those are all full-size ATX. So I looked around trying to find something affordable, but respectable. I don't want to buy bottom of the barrel. I found this MSI Pro B760M with included Wi-Fi that uses the cheaper DDR4 RAM. And because this is about looks, not about performance, not that the performance is going to be bad, but it won't be as good with DDR4, but the DDR4 won't cost me as much. And because this is not going to a customer and the bulk of the budget went to the case, this is really about being a showpiece. And so I didn't want to go overboard on the motherboard. So I decided to try this. I've never used it before. It has built-in Wi-Fi, which I think is also going to be beneficial on a Micro-ATX board because you have very limited slots available here to add a Wi-Fi card unless you want to go USB. So having it built into the board, onto the I/O, saves us a step. For RAM, I'm going to the old reliable Teamgroup Teamforce Vulcan Z, the DDR4, 32 gigs, 3200 megahertz, $58.99. Wow. 16 gigs a piece. It's a good deal, and it's very high quality. Those are metal heat spreaders on the outside. No RGB. We've got the RGB covered on the case already, and the glass should be smoked, and it'd be very difficult to appreciate what's on the other side. For the solid state drive, we're going to use the SK Hynix Platinum P41. This is supposedly the fastest 2 terabyte drive at this price. I don't believe, well, I know that Beijing drive was faster than this and cheaper than this. But I think this, with its built-in DRAM buffer and everything, I think this actually performs better in real-world use scenarios. It's $156.99, which makes it among some of the more expensive 2 terabyte Gen 4 drives out there. However, one of the better performing, it's in the top 5, top 4 of the best performing drives. So we're going to use that for our storage. Now, I don't know yet what I'm going to use for a power supply. I'm going to see what the board requires, and we'll probably just grab something that we have laying around and stick it in there, and it'll be good enough, I'm sure. I'm not planning to use a graphics card on this build. We're just going to use the onboard graphics, but do know that we could add a graphics card and turn this into one heck of a gaming computer. And it's been a while. You feeling a little rusty?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're rusty?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Certainly in putting in the chips, but now that you have the little suction cup,
it does make it
what a difference versus because those delicate pins, you know.
Roy Star Man contributes $10. He says, I got 3 of those Samsung 970s last week for $106 a piece. Thanks for tracking this item. Yeah, I'm not done with those either. I've got a customer who I built several computers for and used the Intel 665 and 670 2 terabyte drives because they were so budget friendly at $200 a piece. Back then, the reason I didn't use the Samsung 970 is it's an office computer. And I could have sold it to them and they would have bought it, but I just felt like they're never going to notice it. Well, now they've been having one employee in particular is noticing things have been a bit slow. And I went looking at it the other night and trying to figure out what was going on. And Intel sold off their SSD division to SK Hynix.
That's right.
So what I wanted to do was clear the cache out of the SSD to see if it improved its performance, and that's usually done through a utility made by the manufacturer. So I did a little research, a little Google, found that SK Hynix does make such utility for the Intel drives that they now own. And it's the solid state toolbox from SK Hynix. And it's got an option to clear the cache out of the drive for better performance. And it took somewhere between 6 and 12 minutes, depending. Like, is this thing stuck? It's just the bars like clearing cache, clearing cache. Then I rebooted and then ran Crystal Disk Mark, and we're still only getting about 1,800, 1,900 megabytes a second. These are on H370 9700K Intel chips with the H370 chipset on the Gigabyte boards. Gigabyte has a new F15 BIOS on those boards that addresses the security concern. So I thought if I got to go drive into the office, I might as well go ahead and upgrade their solid state drives because I had them order, I think the Samsung Evo Plus 1 terabyte. Most of these computers are using less than 100 gigs. All the data needs to be stored on the servers, so they don't have a lot. The only downside is when I replace the solid state drive, I'm going to use a Cronus and clone it with the Quicken and QuickBooks, which are the ones that load the slowest. Because we changed the drive, the employee is going to have to contact them. It's going to deactivate the product. But I figure for this employee, I'm going to bump her to 64 gigs of RAM. So I bought a kit of Team 64 gig, 2 sticks of 32 rather than 4 sticks of 16. Then I'm going to upgrade that Intel SSD to the Samsung 1 terabyte because those are $52 now.
Okay.
And then I'm going to ask that employee if they notice any performance improvement. If they say no, the next step will be, let's take that particular employee out of the 9700K and put in a 13500 chip with 64 gigs of RAM of DDR5. Oh, and I'm also going to bump up their network to 2.5 gig, at least for that particular employee, because it's the load time loading the file from the server off of QuickBooks. That's just, it's not forever, but when everything else is lickety split, it kind of sticks out.
Yeah.
And they're not complaining about it, but I was working on it the other night and I'm complaining about it. So I thought, yeah, I'll do that. And then I'll recycle those older Intel drives. The prices have come down so drastically on SSDs, it doesn't make any sense to use these budget drives anymore. Matthew Burden with $9.99 says, good afternoon. Gary, Mitch, and Marlena, happy Friday. Hey, Matthew, thanks for supporting.
Happy Friday to you.
And thank you. Camera girl, are you ready to go to work? Put it on my tab. Mitch will pay on the way out. Mitch will take care of it.
Ah, oh, it's heavy. Ooh,
Is it heavy?
yeah. Now that you
Well, it
mentioned,
must mean it's quality.
yeah.
Or it's filled with rocks. These videos are live, unscripted, unrehearsed. These parts are all sealed in the box, except for the SK Hynix. I've had that out, but I've reset it, so it's like new. The RAM is sealed, the CPU is sealed, and this motherboard has never been removed. Did we get any DOA parts dead on arrival? I don't know, let's find out. One of the great things I like about doing live videos is I can't edit them and cut out mistakes. I can't cut out things that aren't flattering for the product where it doesn't work right. You get to see it in real life so that if you go to buy the product, you know the potential of how long things take and how they're supposed to look when they're in the box, when we show unboxing them, that you can tell if somebody's returned it and sold it to you as new. And you can also know from watching, you'll get an idea of how long this stuff takes and the likelihood of receiving dead on arrival parts. Because we do this daily, well, or at least weekly for years. Do you remember ever getting a part that didn't work out of the box? Ever?
Ever. It just worked, all of them. Yeah.
Yeah, I've had a power supply, I think was the last thing out of the box that didn't work. And I had some RAM that I accidentally knocked over onto the floor before I had a chance to test it. So I don't know if my dropping it on the floor broke it or if it was already broken. Regardless, that ended up having to go back to the manufacturer under warranty, and they warrantied it. But as far as dead on arrival parts, they still happen, just pretty rare. And that's why I can have the confidence to say, let's just do everything live. But the fact of the matter is anything can go wrong. We don't really have any control over it.
Very exciting.
But I do believe it's a more honest representation if you were to want to replicate what you're seeing us do, you'll have a better idea of what to expect in that regard. All right, you ready?
I am ready.
We're going to go to, let's see, close-up camera. Come on over here. Oh, boy. Just going to be looking right up your nose. All right, that's all right. We need to look at the desk anyway. We're starting with the motherboard.
Is it hermetically sealed?
No, well, I don't know. Open it and see. I haven't
Oh,
used an MSI
Open
board.
sesame seed. All right.
This is kind of a budget board, so nothing too fancy. So there's going to be stuff underneath.
Underneath
there.
it?
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Okay, so our I/O shield isn't built in. What is this? This is, these are some standoffs for M.2 drives. These are our antennas. We've got quick installation guide and a SATA cable. Let's take this and throw that here. Here, I got some scissors.
This is kind of an unusual anti-static bag. Usually they're the silver ones, right? No? Have they switched
No,
to this?
it's been that way. It's been
Pull that.
it's
Ooh.
been usually one or the other, depending on the manufacturer.
Okay. What would this heatsink be, Uncle Kerry? What would be under that?
That looks like so up here, these are your voltage regulator modules by the CPU. We've got this heatsink here over our main M.2, and then we have a secondary exposed M.2 here. If we were going to put an M.2 here, I'd probably want one with a heatsink on it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't normally buy them with heatsinks because when your motherboard already comes with one, it's going to look better and probably even work better than whatever heatsink you get with an M.2 drive. What does this chip right here say? Nuvoton.
If you can read this, yeah, Nuvoton, numbers.
I'm going to guess that this is our chipset right here. Sometimes you could have a video chip, but that's no longer the case with modern CPUs. The video chip is in the CPU on modern Intel and Ryzen that have them.
Yeah.
Sometimes this could be an audio chip, but usually audio chips don't require a heatsink, and that kind of leaves us with just the overall chipset, which is what I believe this is. This is our, what do we say, 760. Yeah, it's a 760 chipset. So that's probably, when you see the heatsink that's kind of on an angle away from the CPU, that is usually your chipset. If the heatsink was over here, then that's likely for audio, if it's got some kind of high-end audio. If you look at that little chip right there, and I don't know how well Camera Girl can zoom in on that. Put her to work here. If that has a little crab on it. Not zooming? Oh, because it's locked. You got to unlock it. They didn't want it to accidentally zoom. There, now you should be able to zoom. Yeah, it's not gonna focus. That is so tiny.
Even with your glasses.
Even with my glasses, I need a magnifying glass and my glasses. I have all the lights on,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's a little dusty. It's not helping. Well, essentially, one of these is a sound chip. One of these is a network chip. Yeah, that one's got the little crab on it. If you look right there, let me turn this way. And I don't know how well you can zoom in on this chip. Can you look at it through here?
That's kind of weird, yeah.
But this chip right here,
Has a crab on it.
and so that's Realtek. That's their
Okay.
symbol, and
Yep.
they make this. They They could make the sound or the network card or both. This Nuvoton chip, I don't know what that is. And this chip, it looks like it's got a ghost on it or something. I don't know what that one is. And there's another Nuvoton chip over here, whatever that is. Usually where the BIOS battery is, where is the BIOS battery anyway? That was cool. Hey, look, this is the case standoff heat out zone. Hey, that's just plain rude. Where's the battery for the BIOS? Well, I'm sure we could pull up documentation if we were interested in finding that stuff. We've got a couple jumpers here that do something. Got a jumper here that does something, JC11. One of those may be a clear BIOS. The reason I bring it up is that wherever the clear BIOS jumper is usually by the battery, and that's usually by the CMOS chip. So like this could be our CMOS chip here. Or maybe it's this one. Maybe it's this one over here. I do see a positive sign here. Maybe this is our BIOS chip. It doesn't matter. It's not like it's removable or anything. And I do see a connector here for a battery to be connected. But I don't see a battery. So I wonder how they're dealing with that. I'll have to look into that. All right. We ready to, you want to put the CPU in first?
Oh, yeah. You say never open this side.
That's a big sticker to cut.
Open.
You go to the opposite.
Oh, this one. Little snoot right here. Yeah.
It's a snoot.
Yeah. That's easy.
There you go. Mitch with a knife.
Yeah.
Don't get too close. We don't want that same thing to happen again that happened last time.
It's an awful big box.
It's got a big heatsink in there.
Oh, that's right. Ooh. There's our chip. There.
Now see if you can just slide that chip by pulling it straight out through the slot on top. Just grab it and pull it. Don't yank, don't jerk. Don't be a jerk. Coerce it. Gentle coercion. Carry style.
Too much reflection from the light.
No, you got it.
You got it.
And then
That is the chip to buy right now.
Our heat sink. We got instructions, of course, always our Go Fast sticker. 3D. Okay.
All right, give me that.
All right. And the fan.
So this is all being covered and protected by the cardboard to keep our thermal compound clean.
Okay.
So we'll leave it covered for right now until we need it, which is going to be very soon. I'll just move this over here.
Okay.
Give it to me. Give it to me.
Can I open the latch? Can I
Well, I don't know. Can you?
muscle it?
You can.
Does it open this? Yeah,
Yes.
that way. I should have known. I should have known with the two doodads. Very technical.
So one of the ways you can open it that might be a little easier for you is pull down on this plastic piece. Just pull it kind of down and towards you at the same time. Does that lift it up any easier? And then grab it with your hand and pull it back. Reminds me of the hood on a Corvette.
How many pins here?
1700.
I get twitchy putting these in, Uncle Kerry. You better get out your little.
How are you going to get better?
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
don't?
If you don't,
So
And
we don't
then-
want to touch the top
No.
of it.
that's why they include the two thingies here, indents. Yeah.
Well, I would leave it in there if I were you.
Okay.
And what I would do is set that on the counter, workbench, grab one of my suction cups, and just suction it right on top. There you go. Now pick it up by the nub of the suction cup.
We never got to the nub that quick before. All right, let's see. Where's our?
Well, look
thing?
at the writing on the CPU. Which way is the writing on the CPU?
I don't know, this way? Can't see it now that the
Hold it
subject-
by the edges with your other hand. Which way is the writing?
This way.
Okay. Is it upside down or right side? Can you read it?
On the vertical. No, it's upside down.
So turn it so you can read it. Okay. Now in most motherboards, that's the orientation. It's going to go in this direction. If you look on the motherboard here, we typically, when we're putting this into a tower computer, this board stands straight up. And so this is your top slot. This is your bottom slot. And a lot of writing, like if you look under the slot, all the writing faces that direction. The writing on this chip faces that direction. Now I realize the writing over here faces 90 degrees differently, but in general, you want this writing to flow so that you can read it when you're looking at the board. Where, you know, if you imagine that this is in a tower that we're laying down, then this would be the top of the tower. So the top of the chip would be the top of the writing. However, there's also a little gold arrow. We've gone over that before on one of the corners of the chip. And there's a little arrow down here somewhere. There's also notches that are cut out only on the top and bottom, not on the left or right.
I see them now, yeah.
So what I would do is, without pushing it down, but just gently setting it, do your best to just gently set it into that socket. Kind of get it close and let it go. Now you can just very easily kind of lift it, adjust, right?
It's in the two notches.
Yeah. And so it's seated. Now, right now, we're not making contact with those pins. We're just a hair above them. So what we need to do, in the previous years, these little sockets covers would pop off, but they don't do that anymore. So we need to take this off and hold on to this. Don't throw this away. And then we're going to just push this down. And then there's going to be a lot of tension. And that is now pushing that CPU down onto the pins. Now to get that suction cup off, just slide it to the right or to the left, or up or down. Just do a sliding, not a pulling motion.
Sliding. Oh yeah, sliding to the right.
Okay.
Ding, 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 ding.
Look at that. Comes off super easy, and we're done with that. These suction cups, I buy them at Amazon. They're like $6 for 20 of them. CPU's in. All right, want to put the solid state drive in?
Oh yeah. And that has never been opened.
Yeah, it has.
Oh,
Yeah, other side.
this side.
Mm-hmm. Put it all back in there like it was new.
Gone.
I thought the same thing. Imagine my surprise. See how long it takes Mitch to figure this out. Now it is loose in there, so if you
Okay.
open it sideways, it's going to fall out and hit the counter. Ta-da! He figured it out. Very good.
Beautiful. 2 terabytes?
2 terabytes, Gen 4, really fast Gen 4.
Well, we'll leave it in there because we gotta take your number one.
Got to take a number one
your screwdriver. And
PMI, Mitch.
yeah, that's that one. How come there's two screws on it?
That's
Usually
pretty normal. Yeah, on a heatsink, you want level, even pressure, so it cools everything fairly equally.
Magnetic. Very nice. Comes with the blue stuff on it. What's
Oh,
that?
the Loctite?
Loctite. Can you buy that alone? Comes in
Any
like-
hardware store sells Loctite nowadays. I think even Walmart has it. You can order it on Amazon as well.
Obviously, as a kid, I was bad at that game Operation. All right, yeah, the funny bone. Okay, here we go. Let's see, thermal tape on it, of course. Let's see. Drum roll, there she is.
Yeah, we'll have to remove this protective tape before we put it back on, but we're not ready to put it on yet. And you cannot put the M2 in there yet. You see, when you put the M2 drive in, it's going to have to go into this screw right here. See how there's empty holes?
Yep.
Same with the other socket down here. So that's why they gave us this bag which has the little tiny screws and standoffs that we need. So let's put a screw and standoff in this slot that we're not using, so it'll be there. We don't have to go finding it in the years ahead when we want it. And then we need to put the standoff in, then the M.2 drive, then the screw, then peel the tape on the heatsink, and then put the 2 screws, tighten those down on the heatsink, and then we'll have our 2 terabytes of storage installed. So
Everybody got that?
here's the part number, so that for those of you who don't listen to me, and you years from now bought this motherboard, say a couple years earlier, and now you need the little standoff and screw, and now you don't know where you put them, you'll have to find it using that part number. They are unique to each manufacturer, unless you get lucky.
Well, like you said, I always, after a build, I keep everything in the box.
Yeah, but then they
And I
can't
keep
find the box.
Okay.
So now if you look, what was in the bag is right here. See if camera girl can get us a close-up of the standoffs and what they look like, and the little M.2 screws. As I mentioned, each motherboard manufacturer decides which type and style of M.2 screw and whether or not they use a standoff and how tall or how short. So it's very unusual to be able to move them from motherboard to motherboard unless they're all from the same manufacturer. And even then, not so much.
Will the number 1 work?
Well, no, will it? I don't normally do it that way, Mitch.
Okay.
Now I realize I've got smaller hands and I'm more used to doing delicate work, but I think it's just easier to start them without worrying about cross-threading.
Okay.
And start them here. This one here. And yeah, it does have where it looks like you can use a slotted driver or a Phillips driver to tighten these, but don't over tighten them. You don't want to strip out. I forgot what these are called. Like inserts on the board.
Standoffs? No.
No, well, these are standoffs,
Standoffs,
but what
right.
they screw into, you see these
Right,
pieces?
yep.
These are like inserts.
Inserts.
And I'm not exactly sure how you would pry those out and replace them if you stripped them out. So good rule of thumb is don't strip them out. I'm going to grab a small straight edge driver because I do want those more than
No,
just
yeah.
finger tight. What's going to happen is we go to unscrew the screw later, and then the whole standoff comes off with it. So I'll just use a fine, very small. I use this for installing when I'm doing electrical work, like 120 volt electrical work. This fits into the slot to release the wires out of the outlet.
Shocking. You know what I mean?
So it's not shocking.
Oh, you're grounded, huh?
Well,
Nice quarter turn there.
my dad said I was
That's
grounded
good.
until I was 60.
Yeah. Which is next week. All right.
No, according to the bets, I'm not going to be alive that long.
Okay.
Hey,
All right, so I want to just take one of the M.2 screws before I forget. And always use a magnetic screwdriver. We used to keep magnets away from computers because the media was magnetic. And so if you've got a magnet too close to magnetic media, you'd scramble the magnetism on the VHS tape or the floppy disk. So I just put that in snug, right? Because I don't want it to fall out. And at some point, if we ever want to use this slot in the future, or whoever buys this computer, they've got everything they need but the drive. Okay, now you can.
Now I'm going to get very technical, Chad. You see this notchy right here? That's a nice notchy. And right here is the notchy. You want to kind of go in on an angle. I'm doing this right. This thing's in my way. That's because I'm left-handed. So let's see. Ooh, let me try it right-handed. This way? My thumb's in the way. Okay. The gold pins disappear. Beautiful. Diving board. And let's see here. Magnetic screwdriver. Boy, that is a tiny, tiny little screw here. Let's see if I can move it this way. Oh, now you can't. Now I'm blocked.
that's okay.
Okay. Too much caffeine. All right, here we go.
You can turn it. See.
Don't want to wrench it, but snug. Beautiful. 2 terabytes. You want to check my work?
This isn't really that important, but you know, as long as it's locked down. But yeah, you did it perfectly. But you're not done yet.
No.
You got to put the heatsink back on.
Oh, yeah. I'm all about the peel. You ready? Okay. Oh, I got an extra right here. A little
Oh,
bit.
look at that little pull tab.
Yeah, a little bit more.
That's
Okay,
nice.
that's nice. You shaky. Beautiful. No touchy. All right, now, let's see. That goes, how's it going to go on with that thing there? It goes like this, doesn't it? Does it go like this? I think it goes like that, right? Because doesn't that go in? No, I don't know.
You raise an interesting
Interesting point.
Look at that.
It's
Golly.
it's like it came with its own.
Yeah, it came with its
own
own
stand
up there, didn't it? Isn't that interesting? Now, normally, you know, if you're a regular user, you're probably looking at the directions.
Okay.
We don't do that.
So with that, go here.
Well, no.
No, because it'd be too tall.
Yeah, it'll be too tall. And normally they wouldn't give you the second standoff. Well, I guess maybe if you wanted to bring your own heatsink, like maybe you had a drive that came with its own heatsink, maybe that's what they give you the extra standoff for. So that's a surprise. That's okay though. Just take this right back off.
Then do I have to take this off of that so you can?
Yeah, that's gonna, so if you look very closely at this, what we've got going on here,
It came with its own standoff.
but it's got what looks like a little quick release mechanism too, which I'm intrigued by.
Okay.
First of all, I guess I'm going to keep this screw and this standoff together. I want to lose. It's very unusual. Let's put it over here. This one, we need to hold on to the standoff while we unscrew. It's too tight.
Pliers.
You know, I'm guessing they made this in a way that you don't have to take this off.
Okay.
Oops. Having trouble visualizing in my head exactly how I would get that drive seated and turned and still be able to tighten the screw down on top.
I wonder why I saw the smoke. Okay, all right.
Because that's on
Yeah.
super tight.
Yeah.
But I have a tool for that.
I don't believe. Oh,
Pliers.
okay. Won't strip it now.
And then again, I could
Yeah.
probably look in the documentation and see if perhaps they want us to do this a different way, but doesn't mean there's only one way. Oops. I'm going to grab better pliers than those. I need something with teeth on them.
Okay. Wow, that's.
They don't want that coming off.
We'll try it. Slipping it in.
Well, I'm just kind of curious how that,
Hmm.
how am I going to be able to tighten it? Okay, well, let's try it. Really don't want to look at the destructions.
You said it. I didn't. All right. Nachi.
It's just creeping me out.
Yeah. Well,
So it looks like somehow this is going to fit here somehow. I don't know. That's really wonky. I'm not sure I'm liking. maybe it doesn't matter. There's a little flag sticking. It's going to hold the drive down. Is the chat room yelling at me that I'm missing something simple?
Do I scroll up?
Yeah.
That all the way up?
You're scrolling, but you
Oh.
gotta scroll down.
Oh, down.
Well, don't scroll down that. I mean, I
Oh.
can't read it.
Okay.
Just look through this. Anybody's telling me that I'm being stupid. See you there.
Yeah. No, I don't see anything that says.
It seems to me that's got to come off, but it's on there so tight. Oh, you know what? Instead of looking at the documentation there, let me go online. Go to the motherboard manufacturer's website here. All right, close up camera girl. You want a break?
Sure.
Okay, go ahead. And there she is. And there she goes. If you want, you can plug the USB cable in to start charging that up.
Where was the documentation? I guess it didn't come with any documentation.
No, I took the documentation for the M.2 drive, but the M.2 drive doesn't know we're putting this in an MSI motherboard.
Oh, no.
So that documentation
It
wouldn't
is
help us. The motherboard is the one you want to look for. So if I go over to my window capture, board, support, annual documentation, multi-line, only one, so I guess that's the one we get, huh?
You can look at it here if you want. If you need to. Figure there.
Stand up. Two slots. Four per. Yeah, see, that screw is supposed to be attached. It says you use this or this, right?
Okay.
And it shows that not being attached to the heatsink. So I think I'm correct in removing it. In removing it from the heatsink, even though it's super, super tight.
I mean, I can hold the pliers for you, so that way you don't.
Well, I think it'll be easier if I do it all myself, because I gotta exert an equal amount of opposite force that you. How much is too much or too little? All right, let's go back to camera one. That's kind of figured it. I just don't understand why it's so tight. Back with my glasses, I got to do a little close-up operational work over here. There. Oh, no problem now. Camera girl, I need some close-ups, please.
That was a short break.
Time for me to take a 1 minute.
Okay.
My apologies. I've been using Mitch's microphone this whole time. Sorry about that. Thank you for pointing out the audio issue there. All right, come on over. Turn on camera, close-up camera. That's not the close-up camera. That's the close-up camera. All right, so we'll do this using what I like to call technique called the right way. Got that little standoff removed, and you'll see it's got that little plastic piece that's used to lock the drive into position for us. And that's got to go here. It was not supposed to come off with the heatsink, but it was on tight, so you're okay, Mitch. You didn't screw up or anything.
You're lucky you're right-handed. I'm left-handed. I can't. I wouldn't.
I'm ambidextrous. I can do it either way. So now the problem is how I'm going to tighten that with this spinny thing on top. I think I'll just grab those same pliers. These are actual screw extraction pliers. Oh, you know what? No, I'll use that little screwdriver, just like I did before the other one. Yeah, that's better. Okay, now we put the M.2 drive in.
Take 7. All right.
And then this little plastic spinny piece, we want to move that out of the way. And you'll see that the drive sits perfectly.
And that holds it down.
And then we just move it so that that tab goes right up against the edge.
Yep. Gotcha.
See that? And then we can put the heatsink back on, knowing there's 3 holes on this side and 1 hole on that side. And there's 3 little things here and 1 thing. So that's how you know which way this goes on. We've already removed the tape. And I like that there's a guide, those little guide pins, so you know how to center it. And there's 2 different screws. There's a screw with a shoulder on it. There's a screw without a shoulder. The screw with the shoulder goes on this end right here with the large hole. And the little screw with no shoulder, that goes on the little hole over here where there's 3 holes.
Okay.
So it doesn't really matter which end you want to start with. I would not tighten them down though. I would just get them started. Now that we're started, now we can just bring them down until they're snug. Don't over tighten them. And now our M.2 drive is installed, just like that. All right, should we put our heatsink on?
Ooh, yeah.
All right, so here's our Intel stock heatsink, and these are actually relatively quiet heatsinks. We've run Prime 95 for the full 20 minutes, never overheated the chip, so you don't have to upgrade this heatsink.
Reinstalled thermal compound.
Thermal compound's already done for us, so we don't have to do that at all. And it's a rather attractive heatsink for a stock OEM heatsink, I think.
Make sure the writing's this away, right?
No, the writing spins with the fan.
Oh.
So what we want to look at... You almost got me, Mitch.
You passed.
You almost got me. Make sure the car's always pointing in the direction you're going.
You're going, yeah.
All right. So now this fan has to plug into a fan header
right here.
So we want the cable, because this heatsink could literally go on any of these 90 degrees.
Yep.
But I want the cable to have a short as run as possible to where it's going to plug in to make the cabling look as clean as possible. That means we're going to put it in like this. And we just line up these little plastic towers with the holes in the motherboard. And we start by pushing in any corner. Start with there. You heard a click?
Opposite corner.
Uh-huh. Make sure it's in the hole, and then all the way down. You're going to have to use a lot of muscle. A lot of muscle. Keep going. Keep pushing. All right, that's enough. It's not going in.
I don't like muscle.
I don't think it's. I don't think it's
lined up.
No, it isn't.
Steady.
There it goes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just muscle.
I didn't hear a click.
Okay. I heard it.
Okay.
But then what was my bones? There it is. Yeah, that one clicked. It was just really subtle.
And then the fan goes on here.
Yes.
Ah, CPU fan.
Mm-hmm.
This way? Yeah.
It's only going to fit one way.
Oh yeah, with the slidey. Yeah.
The slidey.
Very, very technical. All right.
All right. Getting an education
Yeah.
today.
I can't take the pressure. Where? Is that it? Look like it.
Yep. Straight down.
You do.
First of all, I would untangle this cable a little bit. Line it up.
And we got a zippy zip.
Yeah, and I'm going to cut this little plastic tab. It just tells you not to throw that in the trash. But we can throw the little plastic tab in the trash. We need some RAM.
That we have. 216 gigs.
Correct. 3200 speed, DDR4. And what I'm going to do, if you look here, I'm going to open all of these catches up. This side does not open. You're going to need to cut the tape on that. Where's my scissors?
Over there.
Well, that's the knife. I was going to use the scissors. Two-man job.
Yeah. Documentation, of course. Go faster sticker. It's a must. Selection. And don't force these out. Uncle Kerry says, "What? You bend the packaging, not the RAMs."
If you want, bring it closer to you. Don't worry about the camera.
So you bend the package.
Bend the package. There you go. There's one.
Don't bend the RAM. Bend the package. There you go.
Perfect.
Good job.
All right. I'm going to use, really doesn't matter on these boards usually which RAM slots you use first, but it does tell you here, etched on the board, it says DIMM A1 is the first DIMM here. DIMM A2 is the next one down. You pull the camera back a little bit. A1, A2, B1, B2. You need to pull that camera back. Okay. A1, A2, B1, B2. And now if you zoom in here, you'll notice there's a little line connecting A2 and B2.
Yep.
That says to use, if you're only using two sticks, use those first.
Okay.
So it goes in one direction. This side doesn't open, so you just slide it straight down. Ooh, it's fitting in there kind of tight. Why it's so tight?
You don't have it.
It's kind of creeping me out. No, if I put it in backwards,
yeah, the notch. Yeah.
then the notch is
off.
way off. Yeah, so you can only go in one way.
There's your thumbs, yeah.
Yeah, and then this one will follow the same orientation. So we're going to skip a slot. Open up your computer and look. If your RAM, if you only have two sticks of RAM and they're right next to each other,
You did it wrong.
you did it wrong. Assuming you've got 4 sockets.
Yeah.
So
Let
if you
me-
only have 2 sockets.
Let me use my thumbs.
Yeah. Mitch's turn. One side first, then the other side. Perfect. And then close up the other open latches. There's these latches on this side don't move.
I was just testing you.
And you know why they don't move, right?
Yeah.
Because if we put a big video card in here, it'll block them from opening. Some, depending on the motherboard design, sometimes they do it that way for that reason. Now, at this point, you know what we have to do? Smoke test. We have to see if
So you
this
need.
is going to boot up before we go bothering to put it into a case.
Okay, so you want power?
Yeah, why don't you give me that big power supply on top? That's
Yep.
750. And the reason I want that power supply, and the reason why I didn't pick a power supply, is I didn't know how many EPS power connectors this board was going to take. I had a hunch it was only going to need 1. It actually needs 1.5. So I'll grab the big main power cable that goes on right here. That's pretty standard, regardless of how many watts our power supply is. That had a crunching sound. And this power supply has two EPS power cables, and they split in half. And the reason they split in half is so that, see right here, there's a little clippy, pull these apart. And that means we can do a 4 right down here. I'm sorry, there's an 8 pin and a 4 pin, and that's how we made this 8 pin into a 4 pin by splitting it in half. So basically, that one goes there onto the big 4 pin, and this one that splits, you can use either half of the split. They are the same. So whichever one you want to use.
Or banana split, but that's a different. Delicious.
Strawberry.
Yeah. Dairy Queen. There's a plug right there.
Fake ice cream. Okay, and that's going to be interesting to do once the motherboard's in the case. And then what we'll do is we'll move this over here, and we'll move the power supply over here. And behind you is a keyboard and a mouse. Would you grab that for me, Mitch? It's right behind you.
Oh, yeah.
Sitting on top of
Yep.
Peter Laycock's train bill.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to grab this. Let me have you move, camera girl, and I will grab the power cable for a power supply. We're not going to plug the network in. Power supply is in the off position. We'll turn that, plug that in. We need an HDMI cable. We're going to be using built-in video. Yeah, let's not use a blue port because it's just a keyboard and a mouse. So go over here.
Is it
You got it. Everything is new and kind of needs to be broken in, I suppose. And then HDMI. By the way, take a nice close-up of the ports on the back of this motherboard. Look at everything we've got here. We've got DisplayPort, HDMI, HDMI. So I don't know if we can do all 4 outputs with this
at the same time?
CPU, but maybe. We've got 2 USB 2s, a PS2 keyboard/mouse port, 2 USB 3s, 2 USB 3s here as well that do charging, meaning if the computer was off, we could plug our cell phone into this,
Okay.
and it would still provide power to our cell phone to charge it.
That's what the red thing, tab, means?
Yeah, the red usually means those are charging,
Okay.
so that you can use them for both data and charging in most cases.
Gigabit internet, Ethernet?
This is either gigabit or 2.5. I'm not sure. We'll find out. Then this is our Wi-Fi. I'm not sure which Wi-Fi this is either because I haven't looked. And then we're pretty basic audio here. We've got green is audio out. The blue is line input, audio line in. And the red is a microphone input. It's pretty universal across motherboards for the last 25 years, that color scheme. And let's see, I need a power switch, don't I?
Yeah. Is that in this drawer or the left?
No, it'll be in the main drawer.
Is it that thing? Yeah.
Let's use the big one. Everybody seems to like the big one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's going to be a quote now.
Yep.
Everybody likes the big one. All right, so yeah, you buy these on Amazon, and then I took a little Q connector from a Gigabyte board so I could have it on one piece.
Okay.
Then I can just pop it on. Now I've hooked up power switch, reset switch, power LED, hard drive LED, all in that connector. All right, camera girl, you can take a break.
More than a minute, isn't it?
Yeah, this will be longer than a minute,
this time? Yeah. Okay.
And thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
All right. Now, I think we're ready to let the smoke out. If we did everything correctly, we should be able to get a screen, a power on self-test or post screen. Then we'll look and see what version of BIOS we have. And while I've got the website still loaded, we'll see what the latest version is. If there's a newer version, then we're going to do that next.
Okay.
After that, we'll install Windows 11. Yeah, we'll put Windows 11 on it. And once all that's done, we'll hit the Windows updates. We're going to break out the case. That's what makes this video so special, is the case. Nothing about this build is in particularly special other than it's a good quality, mid-range, all-rounder. So whether you're doing some video editing or some stock trading or everything but gaming, if you want to turn this into a gaming PC, How good of a gaming PC it's going to be is all dependent on how much money you spend on your GPU. Nothing about the system will be holding your GPU back, only your budget. And you're going to want a power supply that's adequate for whatever GPU you put in there. But if you're not gaming, at least not that kind of game, this is a good 8-year build right here. And just don't buy a $400 case like I did, because then it's not a reasonable 8-year build. But everything else is. That's what I'm trying to say. Paul O'Brien said the motherboard has 2.5 gigabit LAN and Wi-Fi 6E. Well, I knew there was something I liked about this board when I ordered it. That's fantastic. That gives us the latest and greatest of those two standards. And let's see, we'll hit the power switch here.
And your input that always says no signal.
Yeah, that's going to be HDMI input. We'll turn that on. And I will minimize us. Go picture in a picture. There ought to be good. All right, Mitch.
Which one is it?
The blue.
The blue.
The blue or the red? Which one? You got to cut the green wire.
No,
it's the blue one.
it's the blue one. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Okay.
Got fan spin. We got
Yeah, and I see a diagnostic series of LEDs blinking in order here. First boot could take 2-3 minutes. It may even shut off and turn back on. Well, it's training the RAM.
Be patient.
And this is actually happening quite quick.
Yeah, that was less than 30 seconds.
Now the question is, what version of BIOS does we have? CPU or memory changed? Yes, it did. So now
It shut off.
I don't know. I think it timed out and it's rebooting
Oh.
again. I don't think I hit a key in time. So let's see what happens this time. There we go. We're in the BIOS. We have the wrong date and time, but we're not off by enough that we need to self-correct it manually. Let Windows do this by itself after it installs. This is where people make stupid mistakes and cause all kinds of problems. So leave it alone. Let Windows handle it. Don't turn on your XMP profile yet. You want to make sure everything works before you go and potentially break it. Now, when it comes to the BIOS version, we want to look up here for a BIOS version. What do we have? 13th gen processor, memory size. BIOS version is mouse. There's my mouse. BIOS version is
E7.
We're just looking at the last three. 100.
100.
Okay. So remember that, because now we're going to go over to the MSI website. And let's see, that's going to be my window capture. Just go back one, support area, over to drivers and downloads. Auto flash BIOS. Okay, I think I need to read directions. We're at we're on 15. So there's the version we have. Always look for the version you have, because if you can't find,
You might be on the wrong board.
exactly. So there's been an 11, a 12, a 13, a 14, and now a 15. So we're going to grab 15 and download that. And then once that downloads, I'm going to extract the files. And then I'll open the extraction, the folder extraction here. And of course, they can't see that. See if I can show that to you. We only need this file right here, the .150. So right click and copy.
Okay.
And then I've got the BIOS flash drive I use. Over on the streamer. So I will pop that over here. And then I just right click and paste. Of course, they can't, OBS is only capturing the one window. All right, enough of that. So let's go back to full screen on camera 1.
David Williams says Rosanna. That's right.
Rosanna Dan?
No, Rosanna the Toto song.
Okay, so now I've got
It on
the
that
BIOS flash drive has that one file I just downloaded. And now I'm going to plug it into any USB port on the back of the motherboard.
And that's fine to do it while it's running.
It's USB. Yeah, USB is meant to be
Right.
plugged and unplugged without
Yeah.
having to shut things down. And then let's go back over to, let's see, HDMI input. So we'll get rid of us for a second here.
Okay.
It's full screen, so Mitch and I can see it the way you guys at home can see it. So yeah, we're on version 100. We want version 150, the latest. You'll see that was from
Yep.
September 30th, 2022. F12 allows you to take a screenshot of your BIOS. That's kind of cool.
Oh, okay.
Let's do this. Somewhere there should be a BIOS. Here it is, M-Flash. Click that. System will auto reboot and enter flash mode. Do you want to enter flash mode?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're off to the races here, doing our BIOS update on the MSI Pro B760M-A Wi-Fi DDR4 motherboard. All motherboards essentially go through a very similar process. So we'll just give this a second here to restart into flash mode. And of course, we've left the flash drive that has the latest BIOS plugged in.
Okay.
And it sees it right here automatically. That is our file. So I'll select it, double click. Now it does give us information about our current BIOS down here at the bottom, along with the build date and the selected BIOS we're going to upgrade to, along with the build date. And it says, are you sure? Click yes. Now, do not shut down or restart your system until the BIOS update is completed. Mouse and keyboard will be locked during update. So essentially, leave this machine alone right now. If you're worried about BIOS updates breaking your motherboard, it's probably because you're somebody who won't leave things alone. If you let it do its job and don't try to nurse it, just leave it alone, you will likely be successful.
And back in the old days, this was pretty slow compared to like now, where I would say a minute, maybe a minute.
Yeah, but the BIOSes were a lot smaller back then,
then.
so I kind of feel like it takes the same amount
Amount.
of time. But you could flash almost any BIOS to any motherboard back in the day. These days, it does a check to verify.
And tells you if,
If you've got the wrong BIOS. And if you like run command line switches to bypass that check, you can force the wrong BIOS and brick your own motherboard. If you think you can outsmart the engineers, that's usually the price you're going to pay for it. But, I'm not telling people what to do. I'm simply sharing my experience as a PC computer technician with over 30 years in the industry. And what people choose to do with the experience that I share with them, they can cherish it or they can burn it. Doesn't change anything in my life. So if you want to see the same results I get, you better do it exactly the way I do it. If you do anything differently than me, don't expect the same result.
May I have a water, Uncle Kerry?
Yeah, you want a bottle of water?
I'm mighty parched. Very thirsty.
Let's see. Do I have a cold one in here? I think this is a cold one. Here you are, sir.
Thank you very much. All right.
So you got a dad joke for us today?
Oh yeah. I got a couple.
Okay, I'm waiting.
Let's see. Dad joke number one. Why is Cinderella bad at soccer?
I don't know. Why is Cinderella bad at soccer?
Because she's always running away from the ball.
Ah.
Wah, wah, wah. The next one I want to be on camera for.
All right, well, then I guess it's my turn. Patrick Russo sent me that book of dad jokes. Where did I put that? It should be over here somewhere. I did not come prepared with a dad joke today. Right now, the system is rebooting. That's why the monitor shows no signals being fed to it. This is nothing to freak out about. It is now applying that new BIOS, and the system may reboot. You may see it shut down and restart numerous times. Leave it alone.
No
Do
touching.
not interrupt it unless you want it to fail and you want to brick your motherboard. So just be patient, and it will eventually come back with a power on self. It's already shut off twice now, and each time it shuts off, it turns itself back on. Do not try to turn it on yourself. Just leave it. Let it do what, oh, we got a different post screen. Let it do what it wants to do the way it wants to do it, and you will be successful. What kind of cooler we're going to have? It's a boxed cooler. Very good. That's a very different screen.
Yeah.
How did I even get there?
But the BIOS does say 150, so it updated.
Yeah, we're now in version 150. So I can go ahead and, let's see, a couple of things. We're going to go back to camera 1, first of all. If I grab the right mouse, Carrie. That's our BIOS update complete. We're done with that. So now we don't need the flash drive back here anymore. I will erase that file off of there.
Later, yep.
I'll never need it again. It's one and done. Unless I had multiples of these boards now, then I'd save it. Now we're ready to install Windows 11. So I've got my Windows 11 media. I've got a video that shows you how to make this from Microsoft using Microsoft's free utility and Microsoft's trusted download source. There's nothing illegal about it. Microsoft wants you to download it. They want you to install it. And then they want you to buy a product key. That's the part you got to pay for. But you don't have to buy it from Microsoft for $199. No, no, no. You can spend $15.90 on a Windows 10 Pro product key and use that to activate Windows 11. You don't have to install Windows 10 Pro. Or you can buy a Windows 11 Pro product key, which will also activate Windows 11, but it'll cost you more money. See? I'm telling you how to save money, even if it's costing me money in commission. As you spend less, I earn less. But I always put your needs first, guys.
Why Windows 11? Have you kind of grown to it now? You know, last time I was here was March 24th, and you were like, yeah, we got 2 years of Windows 10, so you know, I'll just go ahead and stay on Windows 10.
That's a fair question. I think people who don't know me, who don't understand the business that I'm in, they think of it like it's a mood, but really there's a logic I'm following. And that is, if I'm building a computer using, I don't know, some older hardware, say 11th gen and before, I'm more likely going to put Windows 10 on. If something is 12th gen or newer, I'm more likely going to put Windows 11 on it. I think, although they've tested performance between the two, the performance is the same despite them saying that Windows 11 is better. More and more features are added to Windows 11 with every update. It's making it more and more appealing. However, it's still not that appealing to me personally.
Or me.
But this is a showpiece.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to show off this high-tech computer in this high-tech case with all this RGB.
Okay.
And then I'm going to put on an old-tech operating system. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't
that makes
fit.
Yeah, makes sense.
So if this was going to be a daily driver for me, I think I'd still put Windows 11 on it, because if it's still a showpiece,
Yeah.
it's sort of the aesthetic comes first, and I'll get used to Windows 11. It's just, there's a lot of things about it I don't like because it's not familiar, but once I start doing it every day, like the whole copy and paste thing always throws me off. Because now instead of saying copy or paste, it's got a little picture.
And I could see if we were down to, 6 months, but the fact that, October of 2025, so we got all next
Over 2
year.
years.
Yeah. I mean,
We've got to go, first of all, we got to get to 2024, right? Then we spend all of 2024, like think about this time next year. Feels like a long way away, doesn't it? When you look back on it, it seems like it happened quick, but looking forward, it feels a long way off. Then we got to get to 2025, and then we got to get to this point in 2025 to say, hey, you know what? That Windows 10 is expiring on October 14th of 2025, and here we are, let's say in June of 2025. This would be a good time to start putting that into motion, and maybe there'll even be a Windows 12.
or they skipped the lucky 13.
Maybe there'll be a Windows, maybe there'll be another version of Windows, whatever they call it, and maybe you skip right over 11. I don't see any harm in putting Windows 11 on it now,
Right.
but I don't see any benefit to putting Windows 11 on it now.
I'm just used to 10.
Yeah.
I'm just used to it. I'm comfortable
If you want,
with it.
if you just like to have the greatest,
Yeah.
latest to greatest, have it. There's no reason not to.
Yep.
But on the other hand, if your computer's running fine and you're happy with it, why would you jeopardize the stability and the productivity you have? Because now you're going to stumble and trip over things, to find what you're looking for. If you're a computer tech and you want to get ahead of the game for servicing, look, whatever you don't have to justify it to me. You don't need my approval. And by the way, I don't need yours either. You pick what's right for you. You don't pick what's right for somebody else, unless that person has asked you to do it for them. In the meantime, whether you choose Windows 10 or Windows 11, apart from the 10 being an 11, apart from a different skin or a different face, it's essentially the same operating system. It's a marketing game Microsoft is playing. Hopefully through updates, there will be some significant advantages to Windows 11, like AI. When they integrate artificial intelligence into AI to help you accomplish tasks and get information, now it starts doing something Windows 10 can't do that may actually be beneficial.
So then you want to hit restart so that it restarts to your USB drive that's got the Windows 11
Yeah, let's
on
go
it?
back over. Let's see. We'll put ourselves in the corner again. And anytime you update a BIOS, I always recommend you reset the BIOS back to its defaults. Because sometimes, like I've seen NVMe drives, suddenly they drop in performance after a BIOS update, which doesn't make any sense. Then you just reset the BIOS defaults, and then your NVMe performance is back. Can't explain that, but since everything is new and we haven't modified anything, we're still building and we're still testing. We'll go to, let's see, it'll be in here somewhere. Favorites, hardware monitor, easy LED control. Well, there's a RAID controller on here. Advanced F7, that's what I want. And then under settings, no, yes, it's settings. Overclock, don't want that. Advanced. Escape, boot. Don't need any of that. Save and exit. Restore defaults. Yes, it loads the optimized defaults, and then save changes and reboot. And yes, now when it reboots, because this SK Hynix M.2 drive has no partition, no format, the only thing this can boot from is that USB drive, which it should just do on its own without us having to press any keys. So as you see, no signal, that's just the machine restarting. And this time as it boots, we get the post screen, it should then give us the toilet flushing, the little circular toilet bowl flushing. You think that moves in the other direction in Australian?
I think so, but I could be wrong. How about while you let me do this and then you look at a little chat? So I think some contributions came in. And so,
Oh,
yeah.
well, you know how to do this?
I know how to do that.
All right. Yeah, let me look through the chat. Thank you, Mitch. Matthew Burton contributes $9.99. He says, good afternoon, Carrie, Mitch, and Marlena. Happy Friday.
It is.
Yeah, hey, Matthew, thank you for contributing to the channel.
It's probably a balmy, what do you think by now? 91 degrees
It's
out there.
probably 92 now.
Yeah.
It warms up pretty quick out here, and it'll keep getting warmer until about 5 o'clock.
And I don't have a product key.
Roy Starman with $10 says, I got 3 of those Samsung 970s. Oh, we already covered that.
Yeah.
Oh, the chat room's been pretty quiet. Let's see. Mitch must have a script since he's an actor. He's not an actor. He just
Actor.
plays one on TV.
Ah. I'll tell you, Chad, I had an audition last week for Arizona Lottery, but they were looking for kind of a grandpa type. So I knew I wasn't going to get it, but they want somebody with salt and pepper hair and half glasses and whatever. But,
Hey, that's me.
but I still, we want to hit custom, but I still did the video audition, send it in. There's our only drive. So now we hit next.
Alvin Shaver says, good to see Mitch today. Glad to see Mitch today.
Yeah. When we get a break, I'll tell you all about my motorcycle trip. You got big plans this weekend?
I got videos to film.
There you go.
Yeah, we'll do the Synology. You might be interested in watching that one. You might want to do the same thing we're going to do to the Synology, which is upgrade to DSM 7.2, which you have to do by hand currently. It'll be automated in the future. And then we're going to add a 2.5 gig USB network cable, and it's a little bit tricky to do that because Synology doesn't support it.
Can't you just log into my house and do it?
No,
No,
no, I cannot.
I got to do
You either got to do it yourself or you got to bring it over here.
it. No.
Let's see. Well, I might be able to do it remotely with you being my hands, right? Because you have to plug in the 2.5 gig USB connector.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway,
Yep. But that's going to be an interesting video chat.
yeah, we'll do that maybe tomorrow or Sunday. So be sure to tune in. Try and get started about 1 o'clock Phoenix time.
Same bad channel, same bad time. Oh, that's bad.
Michael Dane says, why won't elephants use a computer? Because they're afraid of the mouse. Wah, wah. We've got 434 people around the world watching us live right now. You feel the pressure?
Yeah. Can they see us or just the big
No,
screen?
they're seeing us.
Oh.
We've gone full screen.
Oh, so we can see.
Yeah, in fact, if you look here, that's what they're seeing.
Ah.
Why, did you need to pick your nose?
No, it's just getting ready seems awful spinny. I hope I didn't do anything wrong.
Everything looks right to me. That looks good. Thomas Backenstow says, wonderful show. Well, thanks for being here, Thomas. Certainly glad to have you here.
How's Little Red working? Probably like a dream.
Ron Toomey says, wait, let me see your hands. What's with this? With the white band?
Well, this is called a sailor's knot bracelet, and there's a TV show.
It's so it's not a bracelet?
Yeah, it is a bracelet. So
Well, you said it's not a bracelet.
oh, it is a bracelet. Yeah.
But you said it's sailor's not a bracelet.
Oh, sailor's not a bracelet. Yeah. KNOT. Yeah. So, but there's a TV show on a channel called Freevee, called Bosch.
What's it called? Free B or free V?
Freevee?
The letter V like Victor?
Victor. And it's a TV show called Bosch, and it stars a wonderful actor, Titus Welliver, as a private detective. And he wore a thicker one, but my arms aren't. And so...
So that inspired you to get one of your own?
yeah. And
hey, let's pause that for a second and let's finish this. See if Uncle Mitch here knows how to answer these questions.
States, U.S., skip.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have internet.
Correct?
Double. Continue with limited setup.
Yes.
Can I just hit enter? And
No, we need a username.
okay. The cube? No,
About user. I guess that's one way to spell it.
Yeah.
That you can leave blank. Now, we want location on, but turn everything else off. By leaving location on, it will set that date and time for us automatically. So we don't have to go in there. Manually adjust it. And if somebody buys this computer from me and they want to turn any of those other options back on, they can do that through the settings.
But as you'll see, chat, shipping this cube.
Oh yeah, it's really going to have to be a pickup.
Yeah, local only because, yeah, it's all glass except. Boom.
All right. You did that all by yourself. I can almost leave you unsupervised.
Yeah, almost. Okay.
I'm going to tell your dad. He'll be proud. Finally, he said, my son can be unsupervised.
And for my grand cracker break. Remember that in kindergarten? Did you ever have that?
No.
Graham cracker break. Ah, there's a.
Thomas Bagenstow said, what's the cost? I'm in. Barnsey Breaker. Barnsey's been joining us from Norway. Contributes 59 Norwegian kroner. Or is it krona? Krona. I think it's kroner. He says, good evening from Norway. I'm assuming that's Norway, given it's Norwegian krona. I don't know the flags. Kind of looks like a Swiss flag. Better not say that. Might offend somebody.
I love Switzerland.
Never been.
Where Tina Turner lived, yeah.
But apparently Freddie Mercury.
Overlooking the Matterhorn. It's Zermatt. They stayed. Beautiful.
Isn't there a big statue to Freddie Mercury in, is it in Switzerland or Sweden?
Yeah, that's a good question. Okay, now here we are. So then you take the mouse.
Well, now I'm going to go ahead and plug.
I'll plug it in.
Yeah, go ahead and pull the flash drive for me.
Yeah.
You can grab it, put weight down on the heatsink. That's a safe place to touch the motherboard while it's on. And then on the floor, watch your step. There's an Ethernet cable somewhere down there.
I'm just kind of looking for the. I'm just kind of looking for the end. See there.
Should be not too far from.
Is it a thin one? Yeah. You might have to join me in the dance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks, yeah, it's in a big old pile over here. Should be this one right here.
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking at the cable that goes that way.
Okay.
Because these thin HDMI cables and these thin Ethernet cables,
yeah.
Well, we get a little spoiled with those. And again, you can put your hand on the heatsink to brace the motherboard when you plug in. And that should be a 2.5 gig Ethernet connection. And we can verify that now that I've got that new TP-Link Wi-Fi 7 router, which I am totally digging. And let's see if that bottom right corner, if that little globe down there becomes a little computer, or if we have to load a driver. Sometimes you need to load a driver for that.
I didn't hear a click, but
no? Yeah, it's in there.
Okay.
Yeah, and in fact, just my wiggling it, there it goes.
Oh, there it goes.
Let's see, right click, settings, let's see, Ethernet connected. Advanced network settings, maybe? Ethernet. Here's our speed, 2,500 megabytes per second. Doesn't make my internet any faster, but you know, at least that's working. So with that, let's go ahead and hit Windows Update. What was I thinking? Is that right? The whole time. All right, we're going to do our updates now. And this thing, do you hear it at all?
No. Whisper quiet.
And for a stock fan, that's incredible. All right.
David Martinez, Mitch, did you ever buy a PS5? I'll let you in, chat. My very kind and generous gentleman to my right, Uncle Kerry, got me.
Oh, I was thinking of their right.
Yeah, a PS5. So yes, I have it. I don't have any games loaded on it yet, but I'm looking to get a probably a internal 1 or 2 terabyte NVMe that goes in there for storage so that you can store games. So yeah.
Okay. I just found out I'm colorblind. Yeah, the news just came out of the orange. Hey, did you hear that laughing too loudly in Hawaii is illegal?
Mm-mm.
They only permit aloha.
Okay.
I hate my job. All I do is crush cans all day. It's soda pressing.
Mm-hmm.
Soda pressing.
Yeah.
See, it's soda. Mom keeps asking me why I have so much candy. She doesn't know I always keep a few Twix up my sleeve. You know, I found a wooden shoe in my toilet. Yeah, it's totally clogged.
Okay.
If a pig loses its voice, does it become disgruntled?
Mm.
I love dad jokes, but I don't have any kids, so I guess that makes me a faux pas.
Okay, that would be me. Yeah.
I only know 25 letters of the alphabet. I just don't know why. My dream job is to clean mirrors because I can really see myself doing that.
Okay.
I don't trust stairs. They're always up to something. You know what, Mitch? I am so good at sleeping, I can do it with my eyes closed.
There you go.
Enough pain? Have I distributed enough pain amongst you?
Is this new or you already said this one?
Yeah, that's Barnsey joining us from Norway.
Ah.
Thank you, Barnsey. Thomas Beckenso says he loves Norway. Norwegian is kroner, not Swedish. Swedish is krona. Nick Caffrey says, I sent you a small support on PayPal. Oh, did you? Well, let's just check that email. See what else we might have missed. $92 degrees outside. $10 comes in from David Coleman. Right on. Thank you, David. He said, my buddy's there in Arizona. I don't know what that means, but thank you for the contribution. Oh, our good friend Oystein sends a $200 Amazon gift card. Very generous.
Oystein.
Yeah. He says, thank you for another great show. I love that Mitch is back. All right.
Well, thank you for
I
that.
missed.
Maybe Uncle Kira get Mitchie want wingy.
Is that what we're doing? Wings?
Wingy.
Nicholas Caffrey with $20.53 contributed via PayPal. And $10 from Michael K. MacArthur says, thanks, Gary, so much for all you do. Well, you guys make it possible. So thank you for making it possible.
Now, while this is updating, can I talk
Yep,
about my trip?
please do.
All right. Well, chat. As you know, I was going to be gone on my motorcycle for a month, is what I was thinking. I was going to do, obviously Phoenix, San Francisco, Portland, Seattle, Vancouver, and then come home. But I got going, and I'll tell you, riding 6 hours a day for this old guy was a little eye-opening and a little shocking. Those first couple of days, I got off that bike, and it was like somebody beat me with a bag of oranges because I had to pop Tylenol like Tic Tacs just to even get back on the bike. But I went Phoenix to Vegas. That's only 5 hours, so that was nice. And then Vegas to a little town called Mojave. That was about 6 hours. That was brutal. Then Mojave on into a town called San Rafael, where I spent a couple of days because I got to see my second favorite band, Pablo Cruz, who have been together 50 years, and they saw me and came up and said, there's Mitch from Phoenix. And the guys, I told them that I'd ridden my motorcycle all the way up to see them. And of course, the keyboardist, Corey Laria, said, Mitch, you're crazy. And so saw them. And then from San Rafael, drove 6 hours north to a little town called Crescent City, California, which is right kind of at the top of California.
By Oregon there.
And beautiful weather, but it kind of had turned overcasty, cool, not cold, but cool and a little misty. And I was about 6 hours away from Portland, and I just said to myself, I just can't do it. The weather's not that great. And so I made the decision in Crescent City, not that there was much to do there, but going from San Rafael to Crescent City through beautiful red oaks and the green and trees that were, just humongous, was wonderful. But I turned around in Crescent City and went back to San Francisco for a couple days, then figured, went to an awful town called Bakersfield, California. I spent an overnight there, and then back down into Vegas for a couple of days, and then Vegas home. So I think I was gone maybe 12 days, something like that. And so
Just on the bike.
just on the bike.
And just by yourself.
And alone. Yeah, I got a lot of compliments on the bikes. I put on the saddlebags, but here on Monday, July 3rd, Pablo Cruz is playing in a little town I think Uncle Kerry knows about called West Wendover, Nevada, which is right at the top of Nevada. So
think I've heard of it.
I think what I will do is leave the saddlebags off the bike. I think I will go drive the bike then with just a backpack, and I'll do the Vegas for 5 hours. Vegas to that town is about a 5 hours, almost 6 hour drive. I got a front row seat, see the boys again Monday, July 3rd. Then I'll spend Monday after the show. They're in West Wendover. Then I'll head back down to Vegas for a couple of days, and I always stay at the Stratosphere on the bad side.
On the sketchy side.
On the sketchy side.
But you know, they have that really nice resort across the street now called
Siraka. Yeah. It's for adults only, isn't it?
No, it's
which one are you thinking about?
It's a resort.
Mm.
A big resort that's right, like, kind of on an angle, but across the street.
Yeah. But I ended up doing about 2,600 miles. So again, I'm proud of myself. You know, I don't know whether I would ever take a trip that long again. I'm just not sure, but I'll do the up to northern Nevada, and so that round trip might be about 1,500, 1,600 miles. So I'll be gone 3 or 4 days, and it'll be again nice to get out of the Phoenix heat. Going to Vegas, of course, will be very warm, so I think I'll get up. Sunrise here in Phoenix is about at 5:20. So on Sunday, July 2nd, I guess I'll get up at 5 o'clock and get going there. Well, it's the coolest part of the day because I don't want to just wear a t-shirt or even a long sleeve t-shirt. I want to wear I got a big leather coat, but it's just a kind of a white motorcycle jacket that has the shoulder and the pads on it. And so I figure that'll put me in Vegas by about 10 a.m. right as it's kind of warming up, and I'll just get early check-in. And so, yeah, one more kind of little trip this summer on the bike. And yeah.
Now, didn't you say you're going to get rid of that bike next year?
I did, yeah. But I am enjoying it, and it's nice to have a second vehicle. I'd like to have a second car, but for now.
Yeah, you never did replace the Saturn.
No. So if I do a second vehicle, it'll be, I own a 2016 Subaru Forester. I want the next size down is a Subaru Crosstrek. You've got a Crosstrek or an Outback, but I prefer the Crosstrek.
Have you seen the new Prius Prime?
No.
It looks like a little sports car. You wouldn't believe it's a Prius. Probably pull it up here. Bring up the web and we'll look at it together. It's actually an attractive looking car.
But considering a new car today is about 45 large.
Well, and especially this is the top of the line.
Yeah.
The Prime.
A bit much.
But if we go to YouTube, what do you got there?
That time.
That finally, so DHL found it.
Yeah.
Here, bring it over here.
They found it. I'll be dog. Yeah.
Let me see something here. Let's go to full screen on camera. Don't show them. Well, there's no picture on it. Well, guess what I'm doing next week? This is a rocket ship, the Minis Forum NAD9, which is bare bones, the way I ordered it. So I have to put in my own RAM storage and operating system. That'll be content next week. Right on. That was the computer I ordered 2 months ago.
But they lost it.
And it's like they forgot to ship it to me, and then they shipped it, and then DHL lost it. Then DHL said, we looked for it, we couldn't find it. They said, now you have to, ask them to file a claim. They went to file the claim, and then DHL suddenly found it, and finally it's here. Thank goodness I didn't need that for a time-sensitive project. But they already have a new model out. Just as soon as I got it, there's even a faster model, but we'll talk about that another time. So just getting back to what's going on over here, I wanted to show you that new Prius. So let me go back to putting us in a corner. Thank you, camera girl. And screen, desktop for you and I. And let's look up YouTube. We're still doing update installs in the background, so we'll just do two things at the same time. And we'll search for the new Prius. Oh, we gotta watch an ad. Skip that.
He was just on Hot Wings, Hot Ones.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was his second time being on the show.
What do you think of this car?
I like it.
Yeah, that doesn't look like a Prius, does it?
No.
And instead of like when you go to lock and unlock with the remote, instead of beeping the
Okay.
horn, it sounds like a chime, like an electronic, like a phone.
How much? How much?
That's a good question.
Anybody in chat? No.
Let's see. If we go to Toyota Prime 2023 price. Prius Prime starts at 32.
Okay.
It's got a solar panel for a roof. And while you leave it in the sun, it charges the battery. In theory, if you were only doing like a 5 or 7 mile commute, you would never need to plug it in and you'd never need to buy gas for it. It'll add about 4 miles to the car every day you leave it in the sun.
Okay.
Mileage, if you are running the gas engine, it's only got a 44-mile range on the battery.
Okay.
But then the engine kicks in with an over 400-mile total range for the tank, averaging 52 miles per gallon on gas, 127 miles per gallon on electric. You're going to get in the 50s on the miles per gallon. The interior is a bit plasticky, but also has a lot of cameras. It's a hatchback. Watch that video from Marquez.
Yeah.
It does a really
But
good job.
style-wise, I'm
It
very
looks
impressed.
attractive for once. I am concerned at how low that it is to the ground because of all the debris on the roads around here, but I would actually not be completely embarrassed to be seen in that. Very sporty looking, less egg-like. There's DJ Big Red. He says, never get rid of a bike.
Nick says, geez, Mitch, that sounds like a lot of work, not pleasure. Well, again, if I get up and get going at sunrise, that's the coolest part of the day. It's 5 hours to Vegas, so 5:30, 6:30, 7:30, 8:30, 9:30. I can be there by 10:30 because I won't stop until I get to the Strat, as now they call it. So again, it'll be just warm enough there as I'm pulling in. So yeah, I enjoy it. And it'll be nice not to have the big saddlebags on. It kind of changes the look of the bike versus without them. So
DJ Big Red with a $7.50 super chat said there's renders of the Prius Prime customized if you look up 2024 Prius wide body. Yeah, but renders are, somebody drew something.
So that's basically said 32 grand starting at.
Yeah.
So by the time you add all the doodads and the bells and whistles that maybe you would like, 32 becomes maybe 42, 10 grand,
I don't know. The one he had heated and cooled seats. Didn't seem to have dual climate zone, but who cares? The windows, when he'd roll the windows down or up, he said they're the fastest window motors he's ever seen. It was like, it's down. He said, on the other hand, the tailgate opens really slow, although I thought it opened just normal. I didn't think it was fast or slow.
And by the way, Chad, riding a bike, a motorcycle on a freeway, I'm always in the right lane and letting, the speedsters go around me, but it's just so boring. I mean, I have cruise control, and I do have music in my helmet where I can listen to music, or I can take calls or make calls. But it's just...
What were the bugs like on your...
It was terrible. I was literally every couple hours I would have to either stop for gas and just get a towel and just wipe that. Not that I could not see through it, but I just was like aghast at how just covered it was with the bugs. I'm like, oh, geez. So I'm glad I didn't bring my half helmet and goggles, because it would have been pinging off of my face. And I'm like, yeah, don't
You'd
like
start
that.
looking like Tommy Lee
Yeah,
Jones.
don't like that. So don't smile while you're like Dumb and Dumber.
All right, we're just rebooting for these updates to take effect. And then what I think I want to do, we'll finish the updates, and then I want to run Crystal Dismark to see what this drive is going to do. And then we're going to break out the Rubik's Cube case. This is the part everybody's been waiting for. And only 2 hours in, I think we're making fair time. We're not setting any records here, but very casual pace.
Yep.
No unexpected surprises like I had yesterday. Everything's going exactly as it should with these parts that were brand new out of the box. You saw us cut the tape. You're seeing everything in real time, so you have an idea of how long this will take if you want to do it yourself.
And I've got a question for you. Do you think a full, I would call this a full power supply, will fit in that cube? Or you're not sure whether, do you have a mini one? What do they call, what are the little ones called?
Small form factor,
Yeah.
or SFF.
Do you have one of those, or you don't have one?
I do have one, not of this wattage,
But
probably, I don't think it, usually the small form factor power supplies are a Mini-ITX necessity, like the little train computer.
okay.
Or, you know, when we get them really, really tiny.
Right, the cube seems, based on the box there, I mean,
It's
pretty big. I just wondered whether it's going to take a full size.
Any Micro-ATX case or ATX case should take an ATX power supply.
Okay.
The Mini-ITX cases should take a small form factor power supply, although some, like the one Thomas Backenstow has an adapter that pops out, so you can use either one.
Okay.
And of course, my preference is to go with a desktop power supply, because you can find much more variety to pick from, and a lot of higher voltages are available, and they don't cost as much because there's more of them to choose from. There's more competition. There's more price aggression in the market.
Should we check to see just that there's a few updates left?
Yeah. So like this little icon down here that drives me crazy. The way I get rid of that is I just do a search for privacy permissions. No, sorry, search permissions. Search permissions and history right there. And I scroll down and it says show search highlights. I flip that to off. And then that got rid of that. That's how you do that in Windows 11. Different process in rest. And then we'll go back over to settings and back over to Windows Update. Still have a lot of updates here.
Does your laptop have Windows 11? No, did it
The
come
new
with it?
one, the new Samsung, but I still haven't really embraced it yet.
Right.
I got to tell you, my 8th generation Dell XPS is like, it hasn't run this good in a long time. I did a little tuning on it the other day and was able to get my solid state drive performance back up. But I've almost got the drive filled. It's a 4 terabyte drive, a Sabrent NVMe Rocket.
Okay.
And it's at like 990 gigs free. And I don't know where I'm using space up, other than just a collection of these videos I'm making and then downloading. But there's a great little utility, WinDirStat, which I can just Google for Win, short for Windows, dir, short for directory, stat, short for statistics. WinDirStat is a freeware program. It's old, but it should still work. And it can show me visually where all my data is graphically. So if I see like different colors and there's like this giant purple area, that folder, that purple area is representing a folder. I can visually see that's what's consuming so much space. And then I can reevaluate if I need that to stay on the laptop or if I can offload that to the NAS. Because as you start filling up a solid state drive, it will start to get slower. Bryce Hosking says, hi, Mayra. Hi, Mayra. It's fun to listen to people call me Gary, call Mara, all different kinds of names. Welcome in, Bruce Hosking. Mitch, boss says, you need to start a YouTube channel and share your adventures. DJ Big Red said he's going to Lake Havasu tomorrow. That should be hot.
Yeah. Well, boss, I'll tell you, you know, it's just, I'm leaving September 5th, 4th for Vietnam for a month or 45 days. And I just don't want to walk around with a selfie stick and a lavalier mic, because I'm not going to be enjoying it as much as, because I'm going to be worried about the shots and somebody, driving a motorbike by and stealing my camera. And so I'm like, just, I don't really, when I travel, I don't really take a lot of photos, which drives my family insane. You don't take enough photos, or you don't post enough on Facebook. I'm like, I'm too busy sopping it all in, so soaking in the culture and the
Good for you.
Yeah, and so photos that I'm never going to look at again. I'm like, yeah.
You should step over a little closer to me. I think you're being hidden by the equipment over there.
Ah.
Let's see. Back to Windows Update. Retry all. Now it's going to scan again.
Oh, I brought for you on a thumb drive. I did a chat. I did two, but I did a student film for a college senior down at Arizona State University, where I played a kind of retired detective who befriends this young homeless kid, and I try to convince him to kill my older son, and he sent me a copy, so I'll give you a copy. I don't really watch myself because I'm way too critical, but it's only 8 minutes long, so I'll give it to you, and you can go see it and go.
So
God, Mitch,
God,
Mitch, you were bad. Well, the script.
I tell you what,
the script didn't hold up too much when I read it, but the director wrote the script, and I didn't have the heart to tell him, kid, I'm an award-winning screenwriter. I've written things that have won scripts that have won awards, but I just kept my mouth shut. Now, okay, I'll play the part, but I knew the script was a bit wonky, is what I'll say. But again, you can call me and go, yeah, I give that a big thumbs.
That's the thing about being an actor, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes an actor will give feedback about what their character should do or say.
Yeah.
There's a clip that's been going around Twitter lately that's Samuel L. Jackson talking to George Harrison as he's rehearsing for his role in the prequel movies. And he goes, who do I talk to decide the color of a lightsaber? And George says, well, it's blue or green if you're good, and it's red if you're bad. He goes, but what if I wanted purple? Who would I talk to about that? And he goes, maybe you'll get purple. And of course, that's the only purple lightsaber in Star Wars.
Nice. Yeah.
It's cool that somebody caught that conversation on film, and that's how that came to be. But yeah, sometimes the actors give feedback. My character wouldn't do this. My character wouldn't say it like that.
And when I was on set, I mean, again, you have to trust the director. He's like, you're doing fine. If I wanted something or to adjust you, I certainly would. But he's like, I'm pleased with what you're doing. So I'm like, then I guess I'm doing my job. So yeah, but to kind of look at it, I'm like,
You got to, well, first of all, kudos to the kid, right?
Yeah.
He's doing something. You got to start somewhere.
Yep.
And kudos to you for helping him with
Yeah.
this project and let him get there,
Yeah.
And
He was quite impressed when I said, to him that I got my master's degree from one of the finest film schools in the world, the American Film Institute over there in LA. He's like, directing? I'm like, no, producing. Was a producer. So he's like, wow. So like, I'm impressed. When were you there? I said, oh, it was long ago.
Are you a member of the Writers Guild?
Not the Writers Guild.
Screenwriters Guild?
Not the Screenwriters Guild, because none of our scripts got turned into movies. My father and I wrote. They got
So anybody can write a script.
Yeah.
If it gets turned into a movie, you got to join the union,
yeah,
the guild,
the guild.
the Top Guild.
I'm in the Screen Actors Guild. Oh, and I didn't tell you, Uncle Kerry, I put myself up to be a candidate for a local board member of Arizona in the Screen Actors Guild. So there's one slot.
Oh, to be a part of the board.
Yeah.
Oh, right on.
For Arizona. So I need 5 people that are in SAG that are in Arizona to sign kind of my petition, but we have a monthly coffee thing and get together, and so next week on Wednesday, usually we get about 30 people there, so I'm sure I can get. The one lady said, well, you can sign yourself, so of the 5, you can sign it, and then now you only need 4, so I only need 4 people to sign, and then I'm at least in the running. It's a 2-year position, but I'm like, I'd like to give back, and it is my union. I mean, we may go on strike here at the end of the month, but hopefully, we're in negotiations with whoever this month, so we might be able to settle that without going on strike. So, yeah. We still got a few left.
Well, it's installing.
Oh, the big custom.
70% on that last big cumulative update, and then we'll reboot. That should be the last of the updates. Then we're going to put Crystal Disk Mark on there. Okay. We'll see what our numbers are, and then it's going to be case time. This is the part
very exciting to see.
So many people are going to fast forward to. They watch this in the future because this is all boilerplate. Nothing unusual here. It's a different board. I've never used this particular make and model, but I got no complaints so far. Everything looks good on it. It also has a USB 3.1 connector on there for, if you have a Type-C port on your case, it'll plug in. And I see 2 USB 3.0 ports on this as well. So you could have up to 4 external USB 3.0 ports on a case.
Luke Greeny and Mitch, they are in the process of building sets for the new Beetlejuice movie here in Vermont. I was so grateful to hear, Michael Keaton going, let's do it. It's about time. Let me put on the suit one more time. And I'm like, that's great.
They talked about another Freaky Friday movie with Lindsay Lohan and
Luke Greeny's comment.
Okay.
I have to read Luke Greeny's comment.
Yeah.
How far back are we talking? You're going to have to find it. I don't see anything from him. Carrie and Mitch, they're in process of building the new Beetlejuice set movie here in. That's what Mitch just read, right?
Well, I'm in the other rooms. I can't hear.
Oh.
But yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So Freaky Friday with Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis. Hocus Pocus 3 is supposed to happen. Expendables 4, they just released the trailer. There's a movie called The Creator coming out. It's science fiction. It's like Terminator meets iRobot kind of a thing.
Okay.
Anyway, it looks really, really good. It looks like a lot of eye candy. When I saw it, I thought, oh, is this a religious movie? Because it's called The Creator. No, it's hardcore science fiction, so I'm all over that.
And The Flash in theaters with Michael J. Keaton.
According to the reviews, that's supposed to be theater worthy. They said that fires on all cylinders. Now, Ezra, that guy's, I don't know how long he's going to be out of jail. It seems like he is destined to go to jail.
But it's just great that Michael Keaton would say, I'll put on the cape one more time. And I'm like, that's fabulous. So.
Yeah, for sure. I'm enjoying the Rick and Morty-esque nature of a lot of the movies coming out with multiverse concepts. I enjoyed it years ago when Rick and Morty did it, or even years before that, Back to the Future, because that's what Rick and Morty's about, right? Doc and Marty. All right, now, utilities. Yes, I'm going to have to step around. I was trying to avoid having to step around. Easy when you can see it.
Paul 1980, good luck, Mitch, with getting on the board. Yeah, I hope. Certainly have the time to commit to being a local board member of SAG. Yeah. How to be a card holder. As an actor.
Doctor.
Acting. John Lovitz.
Thank you. All right, let's see what kind of numbers we get out of this bad boy. Want to see 7,300 or over 7,000.
Okay.
If I see over 7,000, I'm a happy guy.
Okay. Boom.
I'm a happy guy.
Guy.
And on the right side, I want to see more than 6,500.
Okay.
Closer we get to 6,800, the happier I will be. I almost put that in the wrong place. I'd be knocking things over and cursing. Where did it go?
Here, you jump in chat.
Great
Take
places.
a look. Great places. And chat, again, if anybody is new to Uncle Kerry's channel, you certainly can see some of my acting clips by going to imdb.com and you just type in Mitch Morrison. I want to thank you, chat. When I was here back on March 24th, I mentioned that when you go to that, my page, it helps the algorithm, and I saw the spike
Nice.
go quite up of the amount of hits there on the IMDb page. And believe it or not, that, you know, for kind of executives or agents, managers, they kind of see that spike in numbers. And so, yeah, you can go to imdb.com. Mitch Morrison, that's me. See some clips. You're new. And thank you very much in advance. Go live. Mitch, have you ever been to the UK? Yes. When I, between my first and second year at the American Film Institute over there in Los Angeles, I finished up year one, got accepted to year two, and so in between was a summer, and my father said, come home, son, to Michigan, and I will take you to Europe. I was going to take your mother, but she doesn't want to go. So you drive home, and I will take you. So my father and I spent a week in the UK. Then we traveled all over Switzerland, Germany, Italy, and then kind of back our final week back in the UK. So overall, we spent about 2 weeks in London, and I liked it. I mean, the people were friendly. They could speak English, unlike where I'm going there in September, where thank heavens for Google Translate and your voice translator ought to be. But again, they speak English. The beer's not ice cold like Americans like it, which takes some getting used to. At least it was cool. They've warned me in Vietnam that it's not hot, but it's not even cool. It's kind of warm, but you can ask for ice to put it in. Now, whether you trust their ice is filtered or not, that's another thing. But they're like, now in big cities, I'm sure the beer, if I go to certain bars, it'll be not ice cold, but at least it'll be cool. That I can stomach. But yeah, beer, room temperature, I'm like, eh.
I saw a video on YouTube where a guy went to this restaurant in, I want to say it was in Thailand or Vietnam. Yes, seafood is super cheap there.
Yeah.
And they're like this buffet, and it had everything.
Yeah, crab and
Yeah, oysters, and even had like pasta. Anyway, I'll have to show that video to you because it's a pretty nice looking place, and all that food was really inexpensive.
Yep.
Sue Cool 98 Lawrence contributes $23 in super chat and says, Carrie, I'm still loving the Sidna keyboard and mouse combo. Glad they still sell both colors. Thank you. Right on, Sue. Yeah, that's essentially what we're using right here.
Yep.
And the link for that is in the video description under my Amazon stored. You can find those. It's like a $30
Yep.
keyboard mouse combo
Yep.
that uses one dongle. And you don't put batteries in them. They have rechargeable batteries that are sealed with both the keyboard and mouse. You cannot access them. You just plug it into a USB port and charge the battery up. And I do that about every 3 or 4 months to charge these batteries up.
And I give it a big thumbs up. Uncle Kerry.
You took it with you
Yeah,
on your trip?
he gave me one, and I'm like, it just works. And the fact, yeah, that I'm not installing AA's or AAA batteries. So there are our numbers. What do you think on the rights?
I'm happy.
Okay.
And this is that Beijing $90 2 terabyte drive. It's got 10% off right now. So that's 90.
For 2 terabytes?
So
It's a
$9.10 off of the price brings it just over
Yep.
$80 for 2 terabytes. Gen 4 with those kind of numbers. And it's using all the same components, Crucial and Micron and Corsair. That's the same NAND chips, the same controller. So yeah, I mean, why not? Let's go into Microsoft Paint and we'll just,
Copy that.
I want to make this little box smaller first. Little trick the chat room taught me years ago. I've never forgotten. Otherwise, you end
Right,
up with an image this big.
Yep.
And then we'll save that. JPEG on the desktop.
Call it the drive, I
I'll
guess.
just call it the Crystal disk mark. Results.
Nick Cafferty, Mitch, try Ireland. You'll like it, I guarantee. Well, Nick, yeah, that's on my bucket list. My last name being Morrison, that's Scotch-Irish. So my brothers and sisters have all been to Scotland and Ireland, and they're all hawking me to visit and kiss the Blarney Stone. And I'm like, 1 or 2 trips a year I can do. So this year's the big one to Vietnam. Maybe jump into Cambodia.
If you like this video, be sure and hit that thumbs up button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button just below the video and be sure that you click on the bell icon to enable notifications so you can be made aware anytime we're going live with a new video or posting any new content. You can be the first to know. Okay. Oops, I didn't mean to turn that one off. Let's go to turn this off and we'll start unplugging everything here because you know what time it is?
It's cube. I don't know why they call it Rubik's Cube, which is the twisty game that nobody ever got, but I'm like...
What do you mean nobody ever got it?
Yeah. You never did.
Well, are you saying I'm nobody?
No.
That hurts my feeling.
Did you want to take that out or leave it in?
Yeah, we'll take that out because it makes it difficult to seat this through the I/O shield if there's anything plugged into it.
Turn that off.
Go ahead and set those out of the way.
Yeah.
We're going to need some counter space.
Space. Can you lift that by yourself? I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean...
What, the cube?
Yeah.
Oh, it's nothing. It weighs nothing.
Okay.
But it's all glass.
So just as a reminder, there is a cube case called from a manufacturer called AZZA, and AZZA makes some really bizarre cases. This is not that. This is entirely different. It's about half the size.
Mitch, what do you think of those mini PCs? I like them. As you know, Chad, I have a screening room in my house with a rear projector, 120-inch screen, 9.1 surround sound. So the mini PCs for a home theater PC is great. Oh, so the glass comes separate, meaning it's in the box, the glass. Yeah.
Well, and hopefully it's in one piece. But yeah, it's got a little stand that's RGB that it's going to bolt down to.
Okay.
But as you can see, it's much, much smaller. There's our RGB going along these ribs. Go ahead, give it a spin. There's our power button,
Little
reset, USB 3, USB 2,
Okay.
headphone, microphone jack. Of course, a glass panel will go here, 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 and there. Then there's your back, your I/O shield area here. Uh-oh. Power supply cutout looks awfully tiny.
I was just asking.
Did you jinx me? Um,
And of course, chat, you would never put this on the floor. This is meant to be on a desk if you've got a desk in your home big enough that it can sit on there. So,
let me go back to the box because this is the only thing I've seen out of the
Okay.
box. I don't know what else is in the box.
so I like the mini PCs for home theater. If desk space.
You got
Okay.
screws and a little remote control, I guess,
Cool.
to control the RGB remotely,
Okay.
'cause that's important.
Ooh, Andy Kane, Mitch, try the Guinness when you're here. Yeah. Definitely.
This, do me a favor.
Sure.
Yeah, take that closer to you. This is how they've shipped us
The
glass. So this glass panel, look, it has a cut in it, clearly for the I/O shield.
Okay. And they look like they survived the trip.
Yeah, it's tempered glass, so. Okay, so that's the glass. And then this is our base. Obviously, it's got a weight to it because it's got a, basically, we're gonna run this cable up through
Yep, there's a hole right there.
the middle. Let's try this right now.
Up through that hole there. That's here.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So let me just undo this wire tie. Okay, we'll bring that in here. Now go ahead and put it so this piece is down. So that's going to bolt down onto this piece here. And that's going to be our build. As you can tell, we have room for a full-size graphics card in here. But it does appear that it's going to... No, I think a regular power supply is going to fit in here, Mitch.
Okay.
What I'm guessing, and again, I'm not looking at any documentation. Let's go ahead and take that. What I'm guessing is maybe the center tray comes out because I see holes, the standard mounting holes for a regular power supply.
Okay.
Just not sure how you get to them because this piece here, this like it's like a shield covering access to those screws.
Mm-hmm.
So the only thing I can imagine
Well, we shall see when after you put in the motherboard again.
got a big old fan controller. Look at this monstrosity. It's for fan controller. And yeah, it kind of looks like maybe these unscrew. I guesstimate how this comes apart. So if we take these two out, these normally are there to hold the glass. I think this whole tray comes out. So we'll take these two out over here. This one. This one. Don't lose those, we're going to need them again. There's not any on this side. What about this side? This side does not appear to be holding anything down. Okay, we're getting closer, Mitch.
All right. I'm seeing something jiggle.
looks like we have some kind of a thumb screw over here, maybe. I like to figure this stuff out. It brings me joy. It's interesting. I wonder if see a couple of screws here. Will you hand me the little orange bladed orange handle? Yeah, that one. And there's 3 screws. See, there's 2 screws here. Could I see my glasses? I can't tell if these are screws or rivets. I think it's all screws. Screw, 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 screw. All right, so I think these 2 flat screws, one here.
Michael Dane, Mitch, have you been to New Zealand? Michael, that's next year, New Zealand and Australia, because while I still have my marbles, I want to don a scuba gear and I want to go in that shark cage where you are actually nose to nose with great white sharks, because that's how I roll. So that's kind of, I want to do that.
Will you give me the yellow handles?
The yellow handle. Lamp?
No, it's a Phillips, the one that I always
yeah,
used to use. Yeah, that one there. And okay, now in theory, those 3 screws, and then you've got 4 there, right?
4, correct. Yeah.
All right, let's just keep these all together. Stick them over here. I think this whole center piece will come out now. Give that back to you. Aha. Look at that. So now, got the motherboard tray out, and you can see we have access to the power supply area right here.
And that's a full power supply. Then.
Yeah, see that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that one, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Before, it looked like little guy, so.
So I'll take this down.
Okay.
We need room to work. Hopefully we'll remember how to put it all back together.
Yeah.
So we know that power supply is going to be here. Our I/O shield is just above power supply. So that means this piece would go on like this. And I want to check the, yeah, does this have a cut? It should have a cutout for that. Does it not have a cutout for the I/O shield?
Yeah, on this piece of glass.
Yeah, I know that.
Oh, yeah.
But what about, where does the I/O shield go on the case?
Oh.
Oh, yeah, it does. Okay, no problem. Whew, had me a little worried. So now I just want to see if all of the screws are going to be in the right place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 1, 2. Oh, this needs a third one up here. And another third one in the middle. Yeah, I think we're okay. So we need to add 2 more standoffs. We're going to put a standoff here and here. And the pre-installed standoffs, we're going to use those. We don't have to move them or anything. They're in the right position. We're just short on 2 of them.
Okay.
I'll move this out of the way for now. We'll come back to that. And I'll move this out of the way for now. We'll come back to that as well. Running out of space to put stuff. So what they give us, we've got some nylon zip ties. We've got a wing nut.
Isn't that Peter Jackson's production company? Yeah, Wing Nut Productions.
Or somebody who's a fan of the Red Wings.
Yeah.
We have 3 wing nuts. We've got some rubber grommets. That's obviously to cushion the glass against the fasteners. So all these big things, all these big screws, we will put these away for now. We don't need them yet. Then we've got these big Allen bolt. Oh, these have got to be the ones that go down into the, yeah, how much you want to bet. That's what screws it down to the base.
Yep.
Okay, so we'll save that for much, much later. This is all for glass. So where's our case screws and stuff, though?
Right here.
Oh, it's in the other bag. I'm in the wrong bag.
Never mind.
Let's see. So that's just for attaching the glass and, you know, final assembly. We don't need this yet.
We got a remote, RGB.
Yeah.
Here are our
You just go ahead and spill it out here on the table. See what we're playing with. See what we got to work with here. Ah, standoff. It's going to go here. Find that a bit standoffish.
yeah. Hopefully those will go in. They're threaded. Nice.
In the drawer where you get my ratcheting
Ratcheting. Gotcha.
tool.
Pardon me. Never force anything, but
No.
tight, snug. Instead of tight, you just want to snug it up.
Wanted a little past snug because when I tighten the screws onto the motherboard, when I go to remove it, which will happen at some point, you know what? Let me check these others. Well, those are just round and welded on.
Yeah, that's what
So. All right, give me that yellow handled screwdriver again. And I don't know if we need the fine threaded screws or the coarse threaded screws for these standoffs. Fine. Okay, so we need how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold out your hand, will you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Hey, camera girl. Never find a good camera girl when you need one.
Sleeping? Mm-hmm.
Camera girl. I could use some close-ups. Okay, put it on Mitch's tab. See, we're going to need to go to a close-up camera here. I'll just take this mouse with me. How about that? Your step. I'm going to move this out of the way. Everywhere I put this is in the way. Okay, are you ready?
Ready?
Activate camera 2. Come on over.
Hey, and you're sure the board goes this way with the I/O shield?
Yeah, well,
That's
you
right.
can also tell, you see how close these two
Gotcha. Yep.
standoffs are? And then we can try and get this off of these cables so it doesn't cut into them. And then here, put this so our I/O shield faces the same area as the power supply. And there's nothing that holds this in place for us. There's like no post for that to stand up.
You got one on.
Oh, I got one out there. Getting good close-ups of this.
Okay.
We're just going to get this started. So 1 of 8, 2 of 8. Look how easy this is to work on.
Yeah.
3, a 4,
I haven't seen you use the Milwaukee much anymore. I mean, you still like it, right? It's still charged up in the drawer.
yeah,
But these little ones, yeah, you don't want to over.
I don't know. Depends on the kind of work I'm doing. Is that thing beeping at you? Here. Go. Here. We got the last one. Would you grab that red screwdriver for me? And we'll torque all these down same, even though that's not necessary. But I'll set this on 3 on my clutch.
3.
You don't have to go in any particular order. It shuts off when it hits the torque setting of 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Boom.
That is a properly attached motherboard.
Okay.
Now, this is the time for us to put our power supply in, and
You've got to pick one.
I need a power supply that's got that additional.
Are you going to need more of these little screws? You know,
For right now, you could go ahead and put those screws back in the bag. I'm not sure if we're done with them. And let me step around this way. I'm kind of curious if I have a power supply that's modular that has that second EPS power connector. I'm not sure if I do. Cannot remember.
I'm not big on RGB, but I'll tell you, this cube, it's, you know, it's a showpiece. I mean, people come in and that's sitting on your desk. They would go, oh my golly goo. Very nice.
So I've got some power supplies that the good folks at SilverStone sent me.
Okay.
But I want one that's got 2 EPS power connectors. This one. Oh, I think we found our winner.
Chicken dinner. All right.
Yeah. Well, this is ideal. So it's still a 750 watt power supply. This is the ET750-HG. It's an 80 plus gold. And this is more of the higher end. And they sent this to me, about 2 or 3 years ago, and I just haven't had anything to use it in. I'll have to look up and see if they still make this available. It's their Essential series.
Okay.
So it's still, you know, a budget-minded power supply with an excellent power rating. And it's semi-modular, meaning that our power for our motherboard and for our CPU they're not optional, so there's no reason to make those removable.
Okay.
And then by using this power supply, I'll have less cable mess in this case, even though it looks like they'd accommodate it just fine. Screws that we can use for power supply. Let's keep that out of the box because the box will go in the recycle bin. And the instructions, they'll go in the motherboard box. Throw that over there. Now, as to the power supply, it's a chunky power supply.
You're going to need some of these cables, correct?
No,
None of them.
nope. Actually, I guess we have to plug the RGB in, don't we? Yeah, I will need some of those cables.
I wanted to open it.
Yeah, go ahead and open it.
Ooh.
Will you hand me my red screwdriver again, please? These are the screws that came with the power supply.
Okay.
Notice how I had to lift that up. Get these things to align. Can you get down lower? Will you hand me my yellow handle power screwdriver?
Yeah.
Man, I'm having a hard time. Too many words in my vocabulary. That one didn't go in all the way. But I have the torque setting really low so I don't strip out anything. That, look at that.
It's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Okay.
Now take this and bring it towards you, if you would. Just pick it up and don't drag it so you don't scratch up my counter, please. And then we can figure out how the heck this is going to go in here. So I suppose take the scissors and cut that open for me. So here's our fan controller, which looks like it wants just a standard Molex power connector, which is disappointing, but that's okay. It's got some double-sided sticky tape so we can figure out where we want to place this. And that appears to be giving power to the LED strip 1 and LED strip 2 coming out this side. This cable, on the other hand, is going to... It says fan 2, but I don't see a fan on here. So we don't get any fans with this build, it seems. And then that connector, remember that wire that came out of the base? That's going to plug in here. And we'll find somewhere to stick this, and then we just give it power. So we will need an additional power cable that is Molex. So in that batch of cables you've got, right here. Okay, so now the power supply is going to fit in here like this. So this is where it's going to get fun, a little bit tricky.
Molex? Yeah.
Just hold on. That up like that. Do me a favor, pick that up for me. Let's see if you can bring it in through this side. Let's see. Which way does it have to face? Yeah, you've got it in the correct orientation. That down. Think it'll not going? Yeah, now that the power supply is attached to it, it's not fitting through the same hole we took it out of. So I think I can... Oh, you know what I could have done? Oh, I see. It looks like there's 4 screws. If you come around here, we have 4 screws I didn't notice. One here, one here, one here, and one here. This whole back plate would have come off. Although I still think to get the power supply in, we had to take it out. Is this hole any wider on that side? Are you able to get it in that way? Ah, there we go. Now we're using our noodles. And then I can tilt it down.
Exactly.
You can go ahead and just lay it down.
Lay it down?
Uh-huh.
It won't lay down.
Just whatever you have to do to let it go and let gravity keep it in position for you.
I don't want to.
Okay. Then you can straighten it out. Yeah, it's a tight fit, but it looks like, if I had to guess, it looks like we will take this off in order to get that I/O shield in there, because if I had the I/O shield in now, something is got us caught up on something. Caught up on something. All the cables are free.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the more attractive the build is, the more pain in the butt it is.
You're trying to get it out?
No, I was just trying to get it aligned
Oh.
here, the back.
Yeah. I mean, I got cables here. It's...
Okay, so I think, hand me my yellow handle driver, if you would.
But wait a minute before you tighten down, because I want you to take a look at the other side.
I'm going to take
Okay.
something off.
Oh,
Take this
something off.
back IO cover off. I like how everything unscrews, that it's not all riveted. Just trying to remember which screws went where, because these are a different set of screws than the others, which had flat heads. These are rounded heads. See that? Do me a favor. Let me see this. I'm going to put it right here. Just like that. Now, maybe I can get a better idea of how this is going to get positioned. Those two have to go.
Except I gotta take, you'll have to turn it around. I gotta shove those cables on.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
We definitely don't want to
No, those out.
bring that down with those cables.
You want me to lift it?
Yeah, you can go ahead and lift up
Just a little.
just tilt it up here for me. Makes it a little easier to get my hands in there. And I can get these power supply cable wire ties removed. Okay, you can go ahead and start setting that back down. And where you need to watch,
Careful of this wire.
yeah, there's a cutout in the corner for that, I think. Good catch. And we just want to watch, we want to put these, anywhere this drops down, it's going to go behind that or in front of it. It's got to go in front of it here. So right there and right there, it's going to line that up. Then come around this side. I'm going to need that in a minute. So these were the big screws or standoffs that are going to hold the glass in. So they go in there, and it's going to tighten into that right there.
We had 4 of them. We only now have 3. So
I just
oh,
used one.
did we drop one?
I think there's 6, isn't there?
Yeah, there were only 4.
Knock one down. Yeah, there's one down here. Do me a favor, lift the back up a little bit. There, perfect. That back would be supported with that thing we just took out, that shield.
Yep.
So 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Want to lift up or is it?
This way. I like it when a plan comes together. So those, yeah, you just tighten those with your fingers.
Yep.
Don't use any tools or they'll scratch them up.
Yep.
Okay, and now when it comes to this back plate, we have, this is going to go on that. See how it's going to block access to our power supply there. Had to pull that out. So now we can put the I/O shield in. Hey, you get a great view of how the I/O shield goes in.
The very first build I did, I remember for my Cosmos, I ended up bending the I/O shield, so I didn't have I/O shield. So you just snap it right in there.
Mm-hmm. And these were the rounded screws I had taken out, yeah. So the bunch of screws go back here, right? There was the,
And you don't have any, what do you call them? The
little metal grounding
yeah,
straps.
straps.
No.
Just thought I'd ask.
Yeah, I'm glad you did. Always good to check. I get spoiled sometimes with the built-in I/O shields or just overall higher quality I/O shields. Just want to get that started. And so this is a rounded head screw here.
How come it's not flush?
Oh, because it's not going through the holes.
Oh.
Suggests to me the motherboard isn't sitting where it should be. And the reason for that is there's 3 screws that go in here that hold that motherboard tray up. When I was having you lift it, you were lifting the back of it here.
Gotcha.
And then that's what these 3 flathead screws are for. That's why I wanted to separate the screws away.
Okay.
So if you put your hand right under here and give it a lift up.
Say when?
Right there. You're clear. That's it. The others should just go right on in now. This one here. This one here.
4 hands are better than 2.
6 hands.
6 hands are better. Half a dozen.
Team effort.
Yeah. I'm liking this machine. I don't know
Yeah,
about
it's
you.
pretty neat,
I'm
right?
just liking it.
I was afraid it was going to be some cheap crap from China, but it actually seems decent.
You know,
I mean, I'm grumbling about $372, but now it's like, you know what?
showpiece.
You say, this isn't Kadyr's, okay? This is way better than that.
I'll never forget that case.
Okay,
You know it.
now I think we'll put the base on it. All your base are belong to us. So we'll do that while we've got all the...
Okay.
All right, muscles. You're gonna pick that bad boy up. And I'll run the cable right up through here. You watching? Let's pull that through for now and set.
Now, yeah. Keep going.
Just go ahead and set it down. And in our bag of screws, I'm going to take out. And do you notice I'm not having to dig in the directions and figure things out? Take out one of those. One of those. Did they not give us a little socket wrench, an Allen wrench for this? I guess you're on your own for the Allen wrench, huh? Good thing we're professionals over here. We have tools. This would be very difficult to do by myself, and certainly to film it and to be able to hold it while putting in the screws. At a minimum, this is a 2-person job, really. So what I'm guessing has to happen here is if you keep this flat.
Is it being rested on this? No, I don't know.
I don't know. It seems like, are you on something?
I don't know. Let me lift up.
Oh, I think it's just on the cable. Go ahead and see if you can set it flush on the base and get the holes to line up here.
Am I flush? Yeah. The one over there. Yes, sir. Yep.
Alrighty. So
Now I got to lift the whole thing. You put the wing nuts on, right? Or
well,
whatever.
you have to at least tilt it together. Tilt the
Yeah,
base and the top
Let me
together.
hold. Let me hold it.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yep.
You sure?
I'm gonna go quick.
Okay. Righty tighty. Just saying.
Can't get this one started. Doesn't like you, Mitch.
No más, por favor. It's all in Spanish, I know.
All right, muscles, you can set her down. Ta-da! How's that looking?
Dope Tito.
So where our front buttons are, over here. So this would be the way you're going to look at the computer, right? It's going to be facing this way.
Okay.
If you hand me that top piece of glass. No, not just the top piece. And let's peel the plastic off of that. I want to get an idea of what this is going to look like. These here. Put one of these over here. Mitch is doing the peel, ladies and gentlemen.
Sound effects. The other side too.
All right. This doesn't seem to have a front or back, and we got a little bit of sticky stuff on here we'll have to clean.
Schmutz.
Yeah.
Little schmutz, that's right.
Definitely don't want to tighten this down too tight, squish your grommets, but you want it down enough that it's not going to fall off of there, you know? What do you think, camera girl?
I think it's kind of cool. Different.
You think it's worth $372 plus tax and waiting 4 weeks for it to arrive?
Yeah.
I'll know better when it's lit.
Yeah.
I'm already lit.
I wish I was.
It already looks good. You don't even have to turn.
I think tonight I might have glasses of Blue Moon. Oh boy.
Is that a chip? Well, the good news is I can flip it the other way. See that? All of that glass is chipped.
If it was plastic, it would have come off.
Think, right?
Yeah.
Gonna bug me.
Don't let that slip.
It was the It's not going anywhere. It's recessed onto the rubber grommet. Looks way better that way.
Oh, okay.
There, I fixed it.
How are you going to clean the glass from the inside?
I'll take the glass back off, but since I got to
Oh,
work in there,
gotcha.
I'm going to
Yeah.
probably get my fingers on it.
Yeah.
So wait until we're very, done with everything, cable management and whatnot. Then just get some paper towels and some Windex or a microfiber cloth would probably be ideal. And trying to visualize what it's going to look like when it's done. And then we've got all these cables here, like this is our front port power switch, reset switch, all that fun stuff. And they have a little camera this way. You can see we've got some cable management holes here, which is very nice.
Okay.
So we can bring some of this stuff up. Like this is front USB, which has to plug in all the way over here. So, we have a choice. We can either bring the cable up through here, just makes it far more visible, which I'm not a big fan of. Might be better off. So we got some distance here between this and the glass. I might move this, but for now, just to plug it in so we can move along on the USB header there. And this is going to go to the fan controller. You have that fan controller over there somewhere underneath there? Oh, I got it. It's a 2-pin connector. This needs a 4-pin. Oh, they're showing a 4-pin. There's a 3-pin going into fan 2. So best I can imagine here, so I can put together. Is that this little 4-pin connector, see how it's got the 2 rails or notches? I guess it goes on just the center of the 6 pins. So that's very unusual. I'm not accustomed to putting a smaller connector on, except a 3-pin fan on a 4-pin. This is a 4-pin. No, this is 3 wires on a 4-pin plug going into a 6-pin, and that's for RGB fans that provide the fan power and RGB, which we can add a big fan back here in RGB if we want to. But I almost feel like it's going to take away from the subtlety of the RGB on the edges.
Yep.
That's why I didn't put any RGB RAM or RGB cooler in here, because I don't want it RGB on the inside. I want it RGB on the outside.
Yep.
When you look at Robot's foot, if you pan the camera right over to Robot's foot, my appeal on that is that it's RGB on the outside.
Yep.
So, all right. Then we've got our front port power switch, reset switch, power LED, hard drive LED. Those always go on in the same order. So hard drive LED goes this way on these 2 pins. Can you see what I'm doing? Then next to that, the reset switch goes on the next 2 pins over. Above the reset switch is the power switch on the 2 pins above it. And the last 2 pins remaining just above the hard drive LED is the power LED with the positive towards the outer edge. So the positive power LED is above the positive power LED with the positive cable over the positive cable below, negative over the negative below. Switches do not have positive or negative, so I just put them on where all the words face up.
Okay.
What do we have left? We've got another, oh, this is our front port audio. Ooh. Oh, that's not good. We are about 2 inches shy. So I might have no choice but to have to run the cable through the top. Oh my goodness, this isn't ideal. Okay, we got a major design flaw here. On almost all motherboards, your power connector is going to be all the way in this quadrant of the board, which is as far away from the front I/O as you're going to get for any of the cabling you run. Now, I'm sure I can buy an extension cable for this, but it's going to give me too much cable then. There doesn't seem to be any way to run this. Maybe if I bring it up over here. Something.
You need some light?
No, I'm good. I just had to get in the way of the camera. Yeah, I think we're just going to come up short. Look at that.
Yeah.
And it looks terrible running it over the
Yeah.
top like that anyway. But this is not important. This is just for the front port headphone and microphone jack. So I could probably go on Amazon and find some kind of an extension. I'll definitely leave feedback regarding that shortcoming. Literally shortcoming. This is our USB 3 header. This is going to power the single USB 3.0 port we have on the front of the case. That's going to plug in up here. So what I would do is I would try and route this on these other cables as cleanly as possible. In fact, we can even just plug it in sideways right here if we wanted to. Or, because this motherboard has two, go here, or it can go down here. I think over here is going to look cleaner. That'll go there. All right, so there's USB 3, your front port, switches and LEDs, USB 2 front port, and
Didn't you say you had a Molex? Some sort of a...
yeah, that's going to plug in to the fan controller. But first, we need to get the power supply hooked up to the motherboard. So if I can find the power supply, everything is hidden.
I can pick up the case.
I just needed to break out these cables here. So this one, this big power cable,
Has to come over here so you can hand it to me.
it's going to be a little tricky. Pick the cable. Hold on. Just be easier if I grab it myself.
What's these? Light.
Right.
Name the movie, chat.
That's blocked there, isn't
Yep.
it? This is going to be worth it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Now you want to grab it?
Yeah. Got it. Yep. You can let go.
Feed it
Okay.
in.
Yeah,
Just wanna make sure it's not getting trapped on
Yeah.
anything.
As much as you need, yeah.
And that will go on here like that. Just gotta figure out a way to get it installed. Okay, it's that one. And now this one has to go all the way back there.
Oh boy.
So let's see how we're gonna do that one. Let's pass through. It's gotta go back here somehow, some way.
You stick your arm back?
Maybe power supply's back there. All right, so for the folks at home, what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to get the power supply cable. Oh, you know what? I can just take the bottom off. That'll make my life a lot easier. Now these little standoffs or screws are a little different than all the others. And there's no glass on the bottom. It's vented, so it can breathe. It still uses the same rubber grommets. But you'll notice that the glass screws, look, they have slots in them. And these screws, they're completely smooth on top. So by removing this back piece, knowing that these vent holes are going underneath the power supply fan, when we go to put this on, we know which way to orient it. Screw is hitting the base. Isn't that interesting? And I'll be able to take it all the way out. But look at the view I've got now. Now here's another wire that needs to go to that fan controller. Here's our power supply. Here's the, I guess that screw finally did come out. So here's our power supply cables, and they need to go up here. And the motherboard kind of has a little bit of an overhang. It's kind of blocking us from getting this cable fed through, so it's going to have to go in on a bit of an angle to get that to fit correctly. It will fit, just have to be creative, patient. Or you can take the motherboard back out and lift the board up to get it so we have enough clearance for the clip where it's getting hung up. We got there though, didn't we? So again, we just need half of one of these connectors, and one of these does split. This is the one that splits, this one does not. So that one can go, has to go here. This one, we can split it. Splits by raising one and lowering the other one. Or do they just pull apart? Just pull apart. Doesn't matter which one we use here. Either one will do the job, and we can lock that in. Okay. Then that slack goes back down in the hole. Now this wire right here, this wants to plug into that fan controller, which is all the way over there. So we'll have to figure out where we're going to put this. They don't give us much. Again, this could have been another foot longer. But once again, it's a 4-pin connector. Um, hmm. Kind of feel like this one should be moved over here. And this one now can go to the edge that's more or less closest to it, if you will. Not sure how I got that tangled up. Tangled. I want to come out. So many people just leave their cables all interwoven like that, and they're too lazy to straighten them out. It drives me crazy. So now, yeah, you got that Molex connector I need? Thank you. That's just going to plug in right like so. Then the other end will go into the back of the power supply. Can you see the back of the power supply? Can you hand me a flashlight? Yep. See that? Plugged in. That's the bottom side. That plate will go back over this. Yes, we can, I don't know, we're kind of tethered by all these wires on where we can go. I'd attach it to the back of the power supply, but for right now, I think we can turn it on. What do you think, Mitch?
You think? Yeah.
Think we should turn it on?
Oh, yeah.
Send the screwdriver back.
Second smoke test.
Okay, so we need, I'm going to leave all the panels off of it except for this front. We need a power cable. So down here on the ground, I should have a power cable. That's going to go in back here. Can you hand me the dongle for the wireless keyboard and mouse?
Yeah.
We'll plug that in to one of the black USB ports here. And we can give it internet since we have the operating system loaded and HDMI. We'll plug these back in where they were. Okay. Now let me get out of the way and camera girl can get over there. Well, you want to push the button, camera girl? Oh, I probably have to turn the power supply switch on, don't I? Try that again.
Oh, ooh, fancy.
And then here's our controller. You got to pull this little snoot to activate the battery. Here we go. So now we can do all kind of doodads with colors.
How neat.
Okay, I'm going to push some buttons on the remote.
Okay.
This one says red.
Ooh.
This one says green. This one says blue.
That's
Yellow.
awesome.
Orange, oranger, bluer, darker blue, darker, oh, pink.
Purple, something like
Was that purple?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm digging the blue. I'm liking the
How about
blue.
just white?
Yeah.
How about we go auto?
That's that's the showpiece right there. Yeah.
That's neat.
And the base is blinking along with it.
Mm-hmm.
Can I make it go faster? Can I bring the brightness down? Can I turn it off? Oh, I can turn it off. On. Oh,
That one was the keeper. Yeah, that one right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen, the cube.
look at it go there. And if you turn this around, you'll see all kinds of wacky stuff going on.
It's a keeper.
That's a keeper?
It's a keeper.
And the chat room says what? Duncan, he says that would drive me mad over time. Well, I don't have to worry about that. I was driven mad years ago.
I don't know. If you had the solid color, I would go with a solid blue versus, yeah, the twitchy, but certainly if it's on the desk next to me. That is there when friends come over. Yeah, you got to have that.
Kind of getting hungry for Skittles. Cycling through all the options here.
Whoa. Wow. Fun.
Gary Tatum would be good to set it to a music beat. Yeah, that would be kind of cool of it. Ding, ding.
I can dim it, brighten it. It only has one dim.
One dim.
Which one you like?
Jogging it.
Anybody who wants to answer.
Blue.
I also like the blue and green one. And the just plain red. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that one I got. Yeah, that red one.
Or the
but-
green.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's just doing all the colors that way.
Oh. Oh, that's still good. Yeah, leave it at that.
That's the one I like. Yeah, the red. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Blue.
Winston Lou's been a member now for 12 months. All right. Welcome to your 12-month anniversary. 1 year member of being a member of Carrie's Tech Channel. Jesus, member de Carrie. I don't know how to pronounce any of that. I'll bring the studio lights back on.
Okay.
So yeah, as far as I know, I am the only YouTube content creator that has showcased this case. So what we have to do now is a little cable management and put the glass panels back on it. If I want to, I can order an RGB fan to put back here. And in theory, if I get one of these 6-pin fans, it could match and synchronize with the rest of the RGB.
And then you need would you say a little audio extender so it can fit on the?
Yeah, I need to get some kind of an audio extension
Extender.
for that internal audio header, as well as a slot covers. This didn't come with slot covers for the PCIe slots. That's disappointing. Silverstone sells these slot covers.
Right.
So you just go buy some, you know.
Yeah.
And
But I agree with you. Putting an RGB fan would
it needs a fan back here just for the airflow. Honestly, you come around if you want to see the back of it. You have to put some IO shield, PCIe slot covers to block these holes. I mean, unless there's something else in the box I haven't gotten to yet, but I think that was everything, wasn't it?
Yep.
Just check the box again, see if I've missed any accessories. No, that's fine. That's fine. Well, the box is empty.
Frank M says, and a disco ball.
The rest is just glass in here. There's nothing else but glass for the rest of the side panels. And then we've got leftover screws for the glass and screws for the case. We don't have anything for this area here. And it looks like they had a piece that would go up here, like a little bar that came down. But apparently,
Nope.
we didn't have any other pieces we took out, did we?
Nope.
It didn't come with any instructions, did it? We didn't get any instruction manual?
Nope.
Got some free zip ties. All right, guys, what do you think? What are your thoughts? And it's a really fast computer, the 13500 with that Gen 4 Beijing NVMe drive. We've got a good 750 watt modular power supply. If we want to throw a graphics card in there and turn this into a gaming PC, we can totally do that. And you can just picture it with all the glass panels covering, you know, a panel on every side, this side, the top, the other side. So we have 3 glass panels that need to go on. The metal plate goes back on the bottom, but I want to clean up the cable management before I do that, including tying up the CPU power cable. And you're good, camera girl. We'll go ahead and give you a break. You've been working overtime today.
Cost you extra.
Yeah, I told you, just bill that to Mitch. He'll pay you. All right, you're clear. Thank you for that. All right, guys. Well, here it is in all of her glory. It looks exactly as it was pictured. It is actually truth in advertising here with regards to the photos on Amazon and the description on Amazon. And overall, the quality on this build is really good. It's not a hot dog build. I thought it might be. But no, it's substantial. And I like that the base has RGB around the base. It's on the base nice and tight. And I like how small it is. If you look at the ASA cube case, it's way bigger. So this is much more portable. It's light, more light. So yeah, I'm going to look for that audio extension for the internal audio header. And I will debate whether or not I want to put a graphics card in it and turn it into a gaming machine. Of course, I'm kind of leaning away from that because of the expense. And it's really just a showpiece, and it's something unusual. You won't see this anywhere else on YouTube, at least not this month. And I'm happy to bring you unique content, and thanks again to Mortot, whose contribution made buying this case possible. Because it's pretty much a standard motherboard, standard CPU, standard NVMe, standard RAM, standard operating system, standard power supply. Really what stands out here is just the case itself. I guess these corners don't light up, huh? Or did I miss a connector somewhere? Oh, Albert's correct. Arnold Albert says it's an SK Hynix SSD, not the Beijing. Thank you for that correction. I got Beijing on the brain.
Yep.
Thank you for that correction. Matthew Burton said it's a great showpiece. I see it as a centerpiece in my living room. Yeah, or even as a reception area in an office. Yep. What a unique build that is. And yeah, if you want to order it from Amazon, it's a real deal. You will get it eventually. It does take a while to ship from China, about 3 to 4 weeks, but you will get it. Box arrived in great shape. We don't see any damage to anything.
Nope.
And I'm going to have to clean the glass because when you pull that plastic off, it looks like whatever they're sticking the plastic on with is leaving a residue.
Yep.
So that's just not a big deal at all. And then whether or not you wanted to add RGB RAM or an RGB cooler, those are options. I'm just trying to keep the price down, and I want the focus of the RGB to be outside of the case, not inside. That's just my personal preference. Mitch, what is the name of the movie that you play a doctor in? I think he's referring to the clip of, or picture of you in IMDb.
Well, yeah, and the doctor. What did I? That I just shot for my demo reel. It's not really a movie that was a movie. I just I actually wrote the scene and paid a company to film it for me. So if you thought it looked like a TV show, I guess the company did a good job. They better have, because it cost me a lot of money to have them shoot it, edit it, and give it to me.
I
So
thought you're supposed to get paid to be an actor. You're paying to be an actor?
yeah, so, such is the struggles.
All right. Well, we're 4:40, so it's going to be a 4-hour broadcast today. But that's ground up. That's building and taking everything out of the box, installing everything, including the operating system and the BIOS update, and unboxing and assembling the case. I think 4 hours is a nice,
Yep.
non-rushing, less likely to make mistakes pace. So yeah, I'll get some rear PCIe slot covers. I need 4 of those.
Yep.
Of course, we have the glass to put on, but I'm going to hesitate. I'll save that because I want to get the cabling fixed up first. The power supply just so happens to have black cables, which are going to hide really well in the black case. And
Yeah, it's great.
that audio extension cable. What else? Some Windex.
Yeah, and
I'll have to get a Windows 11 product key. I'll buy a Windows 10 product key from VIP CDK deals.
Yep.
And we'll use my coupon code. We'll buy a Windows 10 product key. We'll use the Windows 10 product key to activate Windows 11 Pro. And it's done, really. So I'll do a follow-up video on this in a couple weeks or so when I have everything assembled and wire managed and the glass panels Windexed and put on.
Yep.
You get to see it. Next time you see it, it'll be complete.
Yep.
Looks really good on camera.
You like that, do you?
It looks amazing on camera.
Yeah.
It's a good looking case.
Yeah.
And again, I like how much smaller it is than that big one that Asa makes.
Yep.
Any final thoughts? Chat room, Mitch, camera girl, any final thoughts, anybody?
Okay, I'll have to do a follow-up once it's all put together.
I will do the follow-up.
Yep.
For sure.
I just don't think we can get another unique case.
No, don't say that.
Never say never. I mean,
Didn't even know this one was available until I stumbled on it by complete mistake. I just found it.
mm-hmm.
And we'll take all the spare cables and parts. That'll all go into the empty motherboard box like it usually does. It'll all be kept together. And I'll add the link to the SilverStone power supply to the video description after the video.
Okay.
Is camera girl going to end up with that computer? That's what Bradley Moore.
Probably.
She's going to be running out of space for
Yeah,
computers, I
it's-
think.
I like it a lot.
Well, of course you like it. It's shiny and blinky.
You know, could use a little shine in my hair.
Yeah.
So Cool wants to know, can Generation 3 or 4 RAM be used in various computers, or are they specific use case? I don't know if you're referring to RAM or storage. Gen 3 or Gen 4 refers to SSDs. DDR4, DDR3, DDR5 refers to RAM. You'd have to see what your computer accepts based on its age and its ability to upgrade to determine which of those are compatible with your machine. They're all industry standard, regardless if you're talking about the RAM or the NVMe drive, the SSD. But whether or not what your machine will take will be dependent upon the specifications of your computer. That's true of all computer parts, by the way. Unless it's USB, USB is universal. Scott Hallinan says, you have 2 minutes to solve the cube. Jeffrey Oldham says, thanks for bringing us this unique build, Carrie. Boss says, I could possibly like or get used to plain light, but not RGB. Well, you can just hit the off button on the remote control. And that's just light reflecting off of it. Yep, one of these. Or you can just turn it on.
Have a solid light.
And go just pure white. Yep, it's more like a light blue though. Or red. Yellow. It's green though. It's green look like? Oh, green is very green. You can slow it down too. It definitely looks better with the lights out.
There you go.
That's really. That's definitely a show.
Louis, the one I like.
How bright you want it? That's as dim as it'll go right there.
Yeah.
All right, bringing the lights back up. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Thank you, Mitch.
Yeah.
Thanks for your
It's
help.
great, yeah.
Good to have you back.
Yeah.
Thank you, camera girl.
You're welcome.
She also did the amazing thumbnail on this video. Thanks to everybody who's contributed during today's live stream. Let me trade places with you so I can see those names over here. Here somewhere. Thank you to our good friend Peter Laycock, who made a contribution earlier before the show and after yesterday's show. So thank you so much, Buster. Thank you to Paul O'Brien and Mark Gaines for your earlier contributions, as well as Colin Hunt and K Cordius Technology, Thomas Backenstow, Davis Parsons, Roy Starman, Matthew Burden, Barnsey Breaker, Big Red, DJ Big Red AZ, Sucool98 Lawrence, congrats to Winston Liu for 12 months of his membership. Happy membership birthday, Winston. And onto the Amazon gift card side, I'll say thank you to these generous folks as well while I am in my final stages here of wrapping the video up. Oisting, thank you so much for that very generous contribution from Norway. The $10 PayPal from David Coleman and the $20.53 contribution via PayPal from Nicholas Caffrey. And I think there's one more, $10 from Michael MacArthur. Thank you, Michael. think I got everybody. I hope if I left anybody out, don't take it personally.
Well, everyone have a great weekend. Be safe. And enjoy your weekend.
Winston Lute with $11 Canadian. Did you say you had a dad joke you wanted to say in front of the camera?
Yeah, you want one more?
Why not? We're at 4:48. We're 10 minutes away from
Okay.
top of the hour.
You'll like this one because you're a sci-fi.
Oh, okay.
You ready?
Okay.
What does toilet paper and Captain Kirk have in common?
I think I know the answer to this.
Okay, then let me have it.
They both hate Klingons?
No, they both fly past Uranus and wipe out the Klingons.
Ah, it's a little more complicated than I thought.
You were close. On that note, all right.
Wait, I've got to fire back now.
Oh, okay.
Rest in peace, Boiling Water. You will be missed.
Will be missed.
M-I-S-T.
Oh.
Frankie B, well, look at that. $49.99
Hey,
super chat.
Frankie
Thank
B.
you, Frankie.
Thank you. Thanks for everyone for sticking with us here today on this Friday with this unique build, unique build, and I like it. I like it. I think it would sit on a desk proudly and be quite a conversation piece.
I had a dream that I weighed less than
Uh-huh.
I had a dream that I weighed less than 1,000th of a gram. And I was like, OMG. 0 MG. Every time I take my dog to the park, the ducks try and bite him. That's what I get for buying a purebred dog. "6:30 is my favorite time of the day, hands down."
Didn't I say that a couple of shows ago?
I ran a dating service for chickens, but I was struggling to make hens meet. I used to hate facial hair, but then it grew on me.
Okay.
A magician was walking down the street,
Yep.
and then he turned into a store.
Okay.
I was reading a book on anti-gravity. Just can't put it down.
Huh.
I used to be able to play piano by ear, but now I have to use my hands.
Yeah.
Wow, those are pretty bad.
Yep.
Thanks everybody for hanging out. Thanks
Yep,
for all my
thanks.
friends in blue, keeping it civil in there. And to everybody who's joined me during today's video, we've had between 300 and 400, I think,
Nice, yeah.
viewers today, which is all good. And overall, I was due after yesterday's video for
Yep.
things to go right. And just a little cleanup, and I'll do a follow-up video, final presentation video, if you want,
Nice.
once all that's wrapped up and Windows is activated and everything's hooked up the way it should be. But I was very scared about this purchase. I wasn't quite sure what I was going to be sent from China, knowing it wasn't going to ever be sent back.
Yep.
It's actually a really decent build. So there you go. Just because it comes from China doesn't mean it's bad. They make the good stuff there too. Just, figuring out which is the trick. And hopefully we can help you out with that here on this channel. Thanks again for everybody for hanging out. And we will both see you again very soon.
Until then, bye for now.
Bye for now. And now I need an outro. Oh, tomorrow. Probably going to do that Synology NAS upgrade tomorrow. Be sure and tune in live. Should be 1 o'clock. Okay. Thanks again. Bye.
See you soon.